Welcome to Angels Stadium in Anaheim, California. The Blue Jays will wrap up this 3-game series. Jose Reyes was the spark behind the offense last night. In case you missed it, Reyes had his first 4-hit game of the season.
You know, it all started with a blooper to right field. His next time up, he sent this ball into center field. After 3 straight hits by the Blue Jays, that snapped an 0 for 25 runners in scoring position. And then defensively, we had heard about some shoulder problems, but he didn't have any on this throw across the diamond to get the out. And then probably the biggest hit of the game right here. 2-run home run off of Tyler Skaggs, knocked him out of the ball game, gave the Blue Jays a 3-0 lead. Jose Reyes, the spark was back in last night's game.
Well, he did everything to help his team. R.A. Dickey from the mound shut out the Angels on 4 hits over 7 innings. It's time now to take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. Reyes right back at the top of the order. Jose Bautista continues to play at first base. He has hit well against C.J. Wilson, the left-hander for the Angels, on the mound today. Bautista has 2 doubles, a home run, and 6 RBIs going head-to-head against Wilson. Munenori Kawasaki has had a good road trip. One of the few hitters that has had consistency on this road trip. He's 7 for 18 with a couple of walks, and he scored 3 runs. They are set to take on C.J. Wilson. They beat C.J. Wilson at Rogers Center back in May.
C.J. Wilson now in his 10th big league season. This is his 19th start and 10th here at Anaheim Angel Stadium. You mentioned that loss. He took that loss against the Blue Jays, allowing 5 earned runs on 6 hits, 3 walks. He had 8 strikeouts in that ball game. Since becoming a full-time starter in 2010, he's just been winning ball games. 69 wins since 2010. Second most in the American League among left-handed starters. CC Sabathia is number 1.
Take a look at the outfield defense. Hamilton is back in left. Mike Trout was the DH last night, and Cole Calhoun's in right. Freeze and Ibar on the left side. Kendrick and Crone on the right side. And Hank Conger, switch-hitting catcher, is behind the plate for C.J. Wilson this afternoon.
C.J. Crone over at first base. 7 different players have played first base this year for the Angels. Albert Pujols gets a half a day off DHing. This is the 19th start for Crone at first base.
Blue Jays with 14 hits last night, the most hits they've had since June 20th when they racked up 16 at Cincinnati in that Friday night comeback. So Reyes is set. C.J. Wilson looks in for the sign. It is 26 degrees. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. It is down and in for a ball, and we are underway. The 4 hits boosted Reyes' average up to 267.
Picked up 9 points in yesterday's ball game with the first 4-hit game of the season.
It's hard to do middle of the season. You don't really drop too far or gain too many points. Good numbers against the Angels this season. He's at .500 against Los Angeles. Cued off the end of the bat. That trickles into foul ground. You can see C.J. Crone did a good thing. He was hopeful that ball was going to kick back into fair territory.
Very smart right there. Right-handed batter, right off the end of the bat. That ball is squibbing and spinning. I've seen balls heading towards the coach's box and spin back into fair territory after he sees that Reyes gives up. If that ball touches the bag, that's a fair ball, and he gets the out.
No reason not to let it roll. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's another hit for Reyes. Boy, he was short and quick to that baseball with 2 strikes. Maybe he's found something.
Yeah, he was getting a little bit too long. That backside was collapsing, and he was hitting a lot of balls in the air. Right now, it's level, it's short, and it's quick. Kevin Seitzer getting him back, hitting sharp ground balls. That's the thought process.
They throw that ball away, and Reyes goes to second quickly. So just like that, the Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position.
I don't know if anybody was watching on that play, trying to catch Reyes by surprise. Wilson just threw that ball down the right field line.
So now Steve Tolleson, the number 2 hitter, he's got to move Reyes along. You can see C.J. Wilson very relaxed, and he caught everybody off guard. C.J. Cron wasn't aware the throw was coming his way. Reyes moves into second.
I'll tell you, one guy he picked off was his first baseman.
How about that? Hank Conger was going to make a pickoff throw at second, and I'm not sure if he hit the umpire or what, but the ball bounced to the shortstop. He threw it right in the grass, and he was trying to put a pickoff play on.
Well, there's nobody there, and I think he realizes that, so just throws a grounder.
Came up looking for somebody at second, and just decided that I have not seen that before.
How about that on the road trip? The things that we've never seen in the game before. The guy is not at second base. They're going to throw the pickoff play on. Instead of throwing it into center field, just throw him a grounder.
Eric Ibar, the shortstop, signaling to Conger, hey, let's take it easy. Let's settle into this game a little bit. We've already committed an error. One ball, one strike to Steve Tollison. He shows button, takes a ball. The Angels have played red-hot baseball here at home of late. They have won their last 8 series here at home. The loss last night was their first home loss in 11 games. They had an 11-game win streak and lost last night to snap that streak.
Takes some good pitching and some power to beat them.
There's a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Steve Tollison with a pair of hits in last night's game. He finished up 2 for 5 in that ball game. For his career, he's 2 for 5 against C.J. Wilson. Hits it along the right side, but foul. Blue Jays would love to build some momentum after their 4-0 win last night. That snapped a 7-game losing streak on the road, which goes back to the Cincinnati series during interleague play. They had lost the previous 5 games on this road trip. Ground ball. Reyes has to hold. Now he's going to break to third. Here's the throw from Cron, and they throw it away. Reyes is breaking for home. Here's the throw from Ibar, the tag, and he is out. Reyes forcing the issue. Eric Ibar, former Gold Glove shortstop, made a terrific play to stay on the ball and threw quickly to home to Hank Conger.
How about that for some leadership skills? We had that shot of the shortstop saying, hey, everybody, let's calm down just a little bit. And he is in the right spot. Watch him go right to backing up third base. Cross the diamond, and it comes right back, and the shortstop's right there to back it up. It bounces. They get a fortunate bounce. And for some reason, Jose does not slide at the plate and is tagged out.
And John Gibbons is going to have the review. Now look at the tag by Conger. He tags Reyes on the left leg, but it looked like his right foot was on the plate. There's the right foot coming on the plate. Boy, that is close. He certainly touched the middle of home plate. Conger swipes at that left leg, and let's take a look at it from this angle. The foot is on the plate. He looks safe.
He looks safe. On that angle right there, the one that we just saw, foot was on the plate. He's on the plate, and it doesn't look like he tagged him yet. But I'm not going to say anything because I'm 0 for my last 3.
It is so difficult to have a play overturned. The call on the field is that Reyes is out. Ibar made a strong throw to Conger. Eric Ibar, former Gold Glove shortstop, has had a terrific season this year. Many of the Angels felt like he got snubbed for the All-Star game. Once again, they're showing it up on the Jumbotron here at Angel Stadium, and the fans are reacting to what they see. And here's Reyes once again, waiting till the throw goes to first. And then C.J. Cron threw it over third base, and Reyes looks like he steps on the plate before the tag is applied. Well, you can't fault the umpire for his position. Jim Wolf was perfectly positioned to make the call. Once again, what a crazy inning it has been already. C.J. Wilson committed an error with Reyes standing on first base and C.J. Cron, the first baseman, not looking at the pitcher. They have a decision now, and they uphold it once again. Brian Gorman, the crew chief, with that fist in the air.
Speechless.
Just no rhyme or reason to some of these replays. Our vantage point, in the one replay we saw, it looked like his foot was on home plate before the tag was applied. But that's not the way they saw it in New York.
How about the people he's got to navigate through to try and get up and get to home plate? Well, I don't agree with that one.
Well, the Blue Jays, they lost all sorts of base runners in last night's game. Steve Tollison was thrown out trying to steal third in the first inning. So they had a promising start to this inning. Now there's nobody on and 2 outs. Melky Cabrera. Ball and a strike to the switch hitting left fielder. C.J. Wilson has had a rough stretch of late. He has been hit around pretty good lately. He went just 4 1/3 last time out against the Astros.
Yeah, it's not like he was facing really good, decent offensive teams. They're not great powerhouses in Kansas City and Houston. 8 innings total, 10 earned runs against Kansas City and Houston. Problem has been his command and control. The 5 walks in those 8 innings, and he's also given up 3 home runs.
5 home runs in his last 3 starts. Full count. Bautista is on deck. Up the middle. That'll be a base hit for Melky Cabrera. The hits just keep on coming for Melky. C.J. Wilson, we mentioned his struggles of late. He's got a lot of pitches to deal with, and sometimes that can be a problem.
Well, he might have to sort them out right here today. Fastball 52% of the time. He's got a curveball, the changeup, the slider, and he'll cut the ball in and out to lefties and to righties. He's using his curveball more with 2 strikes, and he's getting more strikeouts with it. So I think the Blue Jays should take an eye and look for that off-speed pitch, the breaking ball, curveball with 2 strikes.
Jose Bautista, the first baseman, goes after the first pitch. There's that off-speed pitch you were talking about. Jose was 1 for 4 in last night's game. He scored a big run in the 8th inning of an insurance run that made it a 4-0 game. Gave the Blue Jays some breathing room. Leadoff single, he stole second and scored on base hit by Deanna Navarro. C.J. Wilson has taken his time. He's trying to get through this inning. He's thrown 18 pitches already here in the first. Breaking ball down and in.
You know, we have talked about that before, about getting a guy early. He's given up 53 earned runs this year, and he takes time to settle in. Through the first 4 innings this year, he's given up 38 of those 53 runs through the first 4 innings. Trying to find that release point, trying to find that breaking ball, the strike zone. So if you're going to get him, you got to get him early.
Another breaking ball, and Bautista wouldn't chase. Three balls and a strike, 2 outs. Bautista had a good cut. So now Melky Cabrera at first base with 2 outs and a full count will be off on the pitch. Nolan Reimold is on deck. Reimold had a pair of doubles last night, his first 2 hits as a Blue Jay. There goes Cabrera. The ball is hit in the air to right. Cole Calhoun, the long run. He's not going to get there. That ball drops in front of Calhoun. Bautista with a flare base hit into right. Melky Cabrera goes first to third. When Bautista hits against left-handers, he'll use the whole field. And right there, he didn't mean to pop that ball up, but he'll take the base hit to right.
Take a look at the spray chart versus the left-handed pitchers this year. 10 hits to left field, 5 to center, and actually 9 hits to right field. He'll use the whole field, especially if those lefties are going to try and backdoor something to him, a breaking ball or something on the outside part of the plate. Teams have shifted on him, and Jose has gone to right field. He's had a good average versus the left-handers this year.
Nolan Reimold, the right fielder, 2 for 7 so far as a Blue Jay. Well, they have made C.J. Wilson work here in the first inning, and it has been a goofy inning. Wilson committed an error after the leadoff single. Then Steve Tollefson hit into a double play. A 5-3-6-2 double play.
3 base hits. No runs yet. And 24 pitches from C.J. Wilson.
Just trying to get through this inning without any damage. Breaking ball hit to left field. That ball is going to be caught by Josh Hamilton, and the inning is over. A long inning, but the Blue Jays don't cross home plate. They get 3 hits and don't score a run. Lineup is a potent one, and Blue Jays did a good job of quieting their bats last night. They managed just 5 hits. Cole Calhoun has been a red-hot hitter over his last 18 games. He's hit .369 with 9 extra base hits. He's also driven in 12 runs. Then down in the 6th spot, Howie Kendrick has really seen the ball well against the Blue Jays all season long. He's 11 for 22 and even .500. 4 doubles and 2 RBIs, and Howie Kendrick has been on a roll against the Jays.
8th career start this afternoon for Marcus Stroman. He's been on a roll. His last 3 starts have been outstanding. He beat the New York Yankees. He had no decisions against Chicago and Oakland, but pitched very well in those games. Each one of those pitching at least 7 or into the 7th inning and 8 innings against the New York Yankees. He did not give up an earned run his last time out. Had 7 strikeouts, which tied his career high last time against the Oakland A's.
Marcus Stroman is learning with every start. He's got the ability to change speeds on his fastball. He changes speeds very effectively on his breaking ball as well. He was matched up against Tommy Malone last Friday on the 4th of July up in Oakland. Cole Calhoun, right fielder, takes first pitch strike from Stroman. .294 average for the Angels right fielder. There's another good fastball, and he has hit the top of the zone and the bottom of the zone already.
That's what he can do. He can take that fastball and he can put it on all corners, up and down, up and away. He has that ability to really work those pitches.
How about a 3-pitch strikeout, all fastballs for Marcus Stroman. Take a look at the defense behind here, Mr. Stroman. In the outfield, it is Cabrera, Mastriani, and Reimel from left to right. Steve Tollison is back at third with the lefty on the mound. Reyes and Kawasaki up the middle. Bautista at first base, and the catcher is Eric Kratz, just back from the minor leagues.
Got to put him in the lineup against the left-hander. He gets a start today, 17th of the season, and he likes to use that fastball. He showed it off right there, 3 straight against Calhoun.
Kratz was sent back to Buffalo on the 23rd of June. Mike Trout takes a fastball strike. Stroman pitched against the Angels in relief at Rogers Center back in May, and he got hit hard. He pitched an inning in the third, gave up 4 runs on 6 hits, including 5 straight hits at one point. So you can bet he's got that game in the back of his mind.
And he wants a little retribution, a little payback right now. And he's learning all the time. I had a quick chat with Pete Walker before the game today, and I was talking about Marcus, and he said he's very smart. He has great side session. He wants to learn. He can really work that baseball, meaning he's got a couple of different sliders, and he's learning all the time. Something that you love to see from a young player.
There's a fly ball to right. Reimel was there and makes the catch. Marcus Stroman can do a lot of things with the arsenal he has, and he's got a varied assortment of pitches.
Fastball in the mid-90s. He can cut it, and they want to cut that down, the cutter. They don't want him throwing as many cutters as he has been. The slider and the curveball. The slider is his strikeout pitch. It's hard with a sharp break, and it's a changeup that's developing. He's also developing a two-seamer, trying to get that worked into his arsenal. Pete was telling me before the game, he said his two-seamer is really coming along, and he's not afraid to use it inside.
And the breaking ball that is popped into the seats by Albert Pujols, and Stroman's quickly hit 0-2. Pujols got a couple of bats against Stroman when the Angels were in Toronto. He's 0-2. Fastball, 1 hop right to Reyes. 3 up, 3 down. The Angels go in order in their half of the first. We've played an inning in Anaheim. It's a scoreless game.
Brought to you by the 2014 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 16 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays. And by Home Hardware, homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Beautiful Southern California. It has been kind of warm here in Southern California. And you can see all the people that have made their way to the beach on this beautiful afternoon. Blue Jays will head back to St. Petersburg, Florida after this game and take on the Rays on Friday night. Start a 3-game series. It'll be the end of the first half. All-Star break coming up. Blue Jays have 3 players that were named to the All-Star game: Jose Bautista, Mark Burley, and Edwin Encarnacion. Eric Kratz goes after the first pitch, bounces it to short, backhanded by Ibar. 1 down.
He's smooth over there at shortstop. Just 5 errors this year for Ibar, the fewest of any American League shortstop.
He's got great range as well, so you just can't say, well, he doesn't have much range, but he's got range. He goes into the hole, makes that backhanded play look easy.
How about the play to get the runner at the plate? I thought that was a heads-up play by Ibar last inning.
Puts himself in good positions, follows the play. Gianna Navarro, the DH again this afternoon. He was the DH in last night's game with R.A. Dickey pitching. Navarro had an RBI single in the 8th. Bounced up the middle, but they had the shift on. That's Kendrick, the second baseman, on the shortstop side of the bag. C.J. Wilson moved into the starting rotation in 2010 with the Texas Rangers, and you can see how he has flourished as a starter since that move.
Last 3 seasons with the Los Angeles Angels, second most wins behind C.C. Sabathia. He's also a guy who'll take the baseball. You can see all the innings pitched that he has had. 152 starts since 2010. That's tied for second most in Major League Baseball. Only Justin Verlander has more.
All right, that's what a manager wants to see, is consistency. Go out there and know that you're going to get 6, 7 innings from your starter every time he takes them out.
And not go on the disabled list. This guy just pitches.
Wilson is 33 years old. He'll pitch all season long at 33. He is from Fountain Valley, California, which is just about 5 miles from this ballpark. Mike Scioscia, a former catcher himself, just understands the importance of consistency from your starters. Darren Mastriani hits it on the ground. Kendrick gobbles it up. Quick inning for C.J. Wilson in the second. He needed that in a long first inning. Josh Hamilton will start things. is 0 for 6 in this series, but he's a good hitter, and you better be careful of what you throw, Hamilton.
Well, you better be careful where you throw the fastball because he hammers that at 391 this season. Breaking ball, not so much, and the changeup has a tendency of getting out front of those changeups. Now, Marcus Stroman throws a cutter, and they want to throw Hamilton some cutter, but they don't want it down low. They want to get it above his hands, make him swing through that pitch up there.
Stroman has come out and established his fastball. And you know what? As long as they're not catching up to it, stick with it.
Don't show them the breaking ball unless you have to.
There's a breaking ball and a strikeout. Second strikeout of the afternoon. 4 straight retired by Stroman to start the game.
You want to have a breaking ball that breaks enough to get under the bat. And the one thing that I see when I watch Marcus Stroman also is his fastball and breaking ball come out of the same arm slot. And a lot of times you'll see curveballs that go up before they come back down. Hitter, that helps him to recognize it. His curveball looks like a fastball and then just drops. That's why it's so effective.
Fastball. Reyes does it go right through his legs. Ibar is going to go to second. Melky Cabrera was deep, and Ibar ends up at second. What a hustle play by Eric Ibar. That ball was hit right between Reyes' legs at shortstop. Looked like he got surprised by the ball, kind of stayed down and scooted right under his glove.
Yeah, another error for Jose Reyes, his 13th of the season. This one is an easy play. It's right at him. Just a couple of shuffles to his right, and the ball gets through him. And we've talked about it the last couple of days about how deep the outfielders play here. And when the ball squirts off of the glove of Reyes, it's a long way to come for an outfielder to try and get it. Ibar is going to take advantage of it. He's in scoring position.
Howie Kendrick takes a strike. Reyes might have been better off had he turned around and got out for that baseball. It's not that far away from him, and then he sees Melky Cabrera. And Reyes turned and got after that ball. He might have kept Ibar at first. There's a base hit to right. Reimold comes up throwing. They're waving him home. The throw is offline and late. Return throw is into center. So the Angels have taken the lead. Howie Kendrick with his 41st RBI. They take advantage of the year by Reyes.
Again, it's Howie Kendrick at the plate. He's not going to drive the ball over your head. That's a long way to come for the outfielder. This ball's hit hard enough that they should be able to get on this ball and hold that runner, but they challenge Reimold. He scores. Throw goes into center field. Blue Jays need to tighten it up.
Bouncing ball up the middle. That's going to get through for a base hit. Here comes Kendrick, and he's going to score. David Freese had a pinch hit single in last night's game. He singles to make it a 2-0 game.
David Freese has multi-hit games 3 times in his last 6 games, so he's swinging a hot bat. The error by Jose Reyes has opened this whole thing up. There should have been 2 outs, nobody on base, and facing Kendrick. Now still just 1 out, 2 runs in, and a runner at first base.
Howie Kendrick drove in Ibar with a base hit to right, and David Freese not wasting any time. Hits this ball right back up the middle.
That looks like it might have been the cutter right there.
Stroman delivers a strike to C.J. Cron. Cron is playing at first base this afternoon. Albert Pujols gets the day off as the DH. And the breaking ball that missed. 1-1. Cron is 24 years old. He's a first-round pick, 2011. He has developed quickly. He too was born in Orange County. Was born in Fullerton. Went to high school in Phoenix and played at the University of Utah. Angels lead at 2-0. They have been a red-hot team here at home.
Scoring about 6 runs a game during that hot streak.
Breaking ball, that's going to drop. Another ball in front of a Blue Jays outfielder, C.J. Cron. That's 3 straight hits. We mentioned Stroman when he pitched against the Angels at Rogers Center earlier. Gave up 5 straight hits to the Angels, and now Jose Bautista is going to walk to the mound.
There it is right there. They know he's going to be around the plate. He's making good pitches. I just think that error really shook him up and put him in the stretch and got him out of his rhythm and his routine. 19 strikes out of 21 total pitches. That's a good job by Bautista, I think, to go in and settle him down a little bit.
The error looked like a routine out. It was going to be 2 outs and nobody on. High bar reached. He ended up going to second on the air. Hank Conger. He hit the first home run that Marcus Stroman allowed in his young big league career. Hit a 3-run home run at Rogers Center. Still just 1 out. David Freese at second base. C.J. Cron at first. Now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on the Angel catcher. The Angels do a great job of scouting Southern California. Conger is another Southern California player. He grew up in Huntington Beach, California. He too was a first-round pick of the Angels. They've always done a great job of drafting and developing their players. A lot of homegrown players throughout their franchise history.
Yeah, lots of good ones all over the place. And they've really hit on their high draft picks over the last few years. Trying to get that 2-seamer in right there. He's trying to get him to roll over 2 times in a row. Tried to throw that 2-seamer to get Conger to roll over on it. Now 3-2, he needs a strike.
Leadoff man is on deck, Cole Calhoun. Full count, 1 out. Not running. Ball is fouled out of play. Angels have scored 2 runs here in the second. 2 runs on 3 hits and an error so far. Freese with the RBI. His 28th. Kendrick drove in a run, his 41st. Cut on and miss. Conger strikes out.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the 2014 Honda Civic. Canada's best-selling car 16 years in a row. And the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
You saw the big A here in Anaheim out near the freeway. It used to stand out just beyond the fence when this stadium first opened, and they have since moved it, and they've had a lot of renovations. Kratz, Reyes, and Bautista all went to the mound after that strikeout. Just a little encouragement for Marcus Stroman. Trying to save these base runners. Cole Calhoun takes the first pitch breaking ball. He struck out on 3 fastballs, caught looking at strike 3 his first time.
He was in the windup and then was throwing darts. And as soon as that error happened, Marcus had to go into the stretch, and it just hasn't been as sharp.
You have to remember, this is just his 8th major league start. Going to be some ups and downs emotionally. And he was breezing through the first inning and got the first man in the second. Snap throw back to first, and Kratz decided not to throw it. It came out of the chute. Bautista had broken in behind the runner at first.
Looked like he lost his footing around home plate when he was coming up to possibly throw a pickoff play on. Good pitch to throw on. He's got a good fastball, and there's his foot slips out from behind him, so he holds on to it. Looking right down in that dirt area.
Yeah, he made a wise choice once he lost his footing. That ball would have ended up down the right field line more than likely.
Would have cost him another run.
Breaking ball tapped to foul. Looks like Kratz got some dirt in his eye on that foul ball hit right in front of home plate. They're trying to clean out his eyes. Runners at first and second. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cole Calhoun. He strikes him out for a second time. Stroman strikes out the side in the second, but the Angels take advantage of the error by Reyes and lead it 2-0. In Anaheim, and he's had a good road trip.
7 hits on this road trip for Kawasaki, and doing it all offensively. And then this is a great play, roaming far out into the outfield and right field to take a hit away from the Angels. He holds on to the ball, gets some high fives. It's a very simple approach at the plate. He stays in there and just tries to slap the ball the other way. The outfield will shift around to the left, and they'll get shallow for Kawasaki. But he's come up with some big hits.
Hitting .278 for the season. As you mentioned, he has 7 hits. He's 7 for 18 on this road trip. That's a .389 average. C.J. Wilson is really uncomfortable out there on the mound. He was messing around, taking time. Now he's set. He retired the side in order in the second, got 3 ground ball outs.
It really showed in the first inning. A lot of time in between pitches, and gave up the 3 hits but no runs. Then in the second inning, he got out there. The tempo was a little bit better. He really pounded that strike zone. And now again here starting the third, it's almost like he's slowing the ball game down for some reason.
Angels have a 2-0 lead. Mike Scioscia, former All-Star catcher, in his 15th season as the manager.
Tell you, if I was standing out there in that hot sun, I'd go, let's go. Pick it up. Pick up the pace.
You've done that before. Well, we've all done that before. I mean, you can just sense that, everybody's back on their heels. The infielders are waiting around for Wilson. He's taking so much time between pitches. There's a strike. That's the beauty of Mark Burley.
Yes.
He grabs it and fires. Keeps his infielders interested. His outfielders never get distracted.
Well, you always wonder, how come that guy has all the plays made behind him?
Kawasaki off the glove of Ibar. It's a base hit for Munenori, his 8th on this road trip. A leadoff single here in the 3rd.
Looked like Ibar got to the ball, but it was hit so hard it bounces out of his glove. He was a Gold Glover in 2011. He's there. Looks like he has it, but it falls for a base hit.
Looked like when he hit the ground, the impact jarred the ball out of his glove. So Kawasaki, see his numbers, 500 over his last several games. Now he dropped it before he hit the ground. It's a base hit. Back to the top of the order. Jose Reyes has a second hit. Little looper into center field. Trot comes in quickly. Kawasaki will stop at second. Reyes is 2 for 2, 6 hits in the last 2 games. So now Steve Tolleson will step to the plate. Tolleson hit into a very unusual 5-3-6-2 double play. Reyes was at second on the 5-3 putout. He advanced to third. First baseman C.J. Cron overthrew third, and Ibar retrieved the ball and threw out Reyes trying to score.
Happens all the time. The 5-3-6-2. Now he just has to keep it rolling right here.
It happens all the time?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Okay.
You see it happen once a day.
Tolleson bunts it to third. Freeze barehands it, and Kendrick gets there just in time. So the Blue Jays move the runners up. It's a sacrifice 5-3. So now the Blue Jays will have their 2 best hitters with a chance to tie up this game.
And that was the whole idea. It's early enough in this ball game to have other scoring opportunities. You get hits from your number 9 and number 1 hitters. You got to sacrifice them over and let Cabrera and let Bautista try and drive him in.
Eric Ibar has called for the trainer out of the Angels dugout, and you can see he too is dealing with some sort of eye issue. They put all this drying agent and turf conditioner on the field, and it's a granular mixture, and it'll get popped up into players' eyes from time to time. We saw Eric Kratz dealing with that on a foul ball earlier in this ball game.
We need more water. They soak this thing right before the ball game.
It is hot, 26 degrees, and the sun is baking that infield. Melky Cabrera with a single his first time up has 114 hits before the All-Star break. That is just 7 off the Blue Jays franchise record for hits before the All-Star break. Vernon Wells had 121 in 2003. Nice play by Conger, and he felt the impact of that ball. He's going to stay down for a minute and try to regroup, but he put his body on the line and saved a run for C.J. Wilson.
Kept that ball in front of him. Timeout as this ball goes down, and you can see it rolls right out in front of home plate.
And Congress saying, leave me alone. Get out of here. There's nothing you can do for me. I'm just going to have to let this subside a little bit. Blue Jays trying to get back in this game. C.J. Wilson was rocky in the first inning. He gave up 3 hits. He committed an error, but the Blue Jays were unable to score. Boy, Melky's in a good spot right now, isn't he?
Taking that kind of pitch, that borderline pitch like that, the way he did. He has had a very good road trip. He and Kawasaki have been the most consistent hitters on this road trip.
Ground ball. Freeze backhands it. Throws high, and Melky is safe. C.J. Cron, the first baseman, felt like he came down before Cabrera got to the bag. It was a high throw from Freeze. Mike Scioscia is out of the Angels dugout.
This time he's running, so I think he might want to take a look at this one. He might already have a decision. Yeah, he does. They're going to take a look at this one.
So now the crew chief at first, Brian Gorman, will be joined by Tony Randazzo, the next senior most umpire on his crew. So if the crew chief made the call, the next umpire in seniority will join in on the conversation with New York.
The runners were not running on that ground ball to Freeze. He took his time, but then right at the last second, Kawasaki bluffed like he was going to go home. A good fundamental move once again. And I think that distracted Freeze enough to throw that ball high. Watch him. He's not going to go. And then he bluffs right there. And as a fielder, you sense that. You feel that. And it has an idea of popping that ball up into the air. And looks like Melky's going to be out. It looked like he came down before Melky hit it. Yeah. But that bluff, I think, from Kawasaki distracted him just enough. It's not going to go in the Blue Jays' favor, but another heads-up play by Munenori.
Yeah, he is the master of running in place on the bases. He'll do that often at first, just to see if he can't create a middle infielder moving toward the bag at second. So Cabrera is out, and they're going to put Bautista on, not even hesitating. They got first base open, and we mentioned the 2 best hitters are Cabrera and Bautista. So Mike Scioscia is going to rattle the cage and Nolan Reimold.
Hey, Mike Scioscia is old school. You know, he looks at this lineup and he says, "Okay, who do I want beating me? Jose Bautista? No. If I have a chance to take the bat out of his hands and make somebody else try and beat me," and that's where Edwin Encarnacion was so important to this team. Hitting behind Bautista, they wouldn't be doing this. And if they did, they'd have to deal with Edwin. But Scioscia says, I'm not going to let Bautista beat me. I'll take my chances with Nolan Reimold. Now, it could backfire on him, of course, but you're playing the percentages.
Well, and too, Reimold certainly doesn't have the success of Bautista. As a career hitter against the Angels, he's hit just .241. So you got to pitch around Bautista in that situation. Every book ever written on baseball would suggest that. So now Reimold's got to come up with a big hit. He had a pair of doubles in last night's game. He lined out hard to left fielder his first time up. It's away from Conger, but Kawasaki has to hold at third. Reimold has to make sure he gets a good pitch from C.J. Wilson.
I like where he's at right now. He looks comfortable at the plate. Drove a ball off the right field wall last night, then doubled into the corner down right field. You mentioned that ball. He was all over his first time up. I like his chances.
Ball 2. So Reimold's career numbers is he's a .252 career hitter.
Right now, you're not trying to hit the ball far. You're just trying to hit it hard somewhere. Can't guide it anywhere. Just see it, hit it hard.
Good job by Reimold. He takes ball 3. C.J. Wilson wants another baseball. Do you let him swing here? John Gibbons doesn't really have a feel for Nolan Reinbold just yet. I might have him just have him really focus on.
Force C.J. Wilson to throw 2 strikes instead of 1. He's battling himself right now, Wilson.
Eric Kratz is on deck. Bases are loaded, 2 outs. There's a strike. Now he's got to come back basically with the same pitch.
I don't think he's going to be trying to trick him right here. He's got to challenge him with a fastball.
Boy, another good pitch, down and away. Tough one to swing at. Well, the Blue Jays are down 2-0. They got a couple of singles. Kawasaki singled to short. Reyes singled to center. They were moved up on a sac bunt. And after Cabrera grounded out, Bautista was given the intentional pass. Nolan Reinbold with a full count. 2 outs. The runners will be off on the pitch. C.J. Wilson wants another sign.
He was shaking. Catcher Conger knew what he wanted to go, but C.J. Wilson has a different plan right now.
Ball 4. Wilson walks in a run. So the intentional walk, and then Reinbold takes the bases loaded walk, and the Blue Jays are on the board as Kawasaki comes in. His 4th run scored on this road trip.
Well, you can tell he was distracted because he bluffed a throw to second base on a 3-2 count. I don't know what that was going to do. Hitters, when they're on base like that, they're going to make sure that you throw the ball home. So he was distracted once the count got to 3-2.
Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, in his second stint with the Angels. So he has delivered the message. C.J. Wilson has thrown 52 pitches already. It's painfully slow.
Had 6 in inning number 2. And this is just like the first inning. You could see it as soon as this inning started. He was very slow and deliberate.
Eric Kratz grounded out his first time up, takes a big cut and fouls it back to the screen.
Unlike that second inning where he came in and said, here's my fastball. Let's see what you can do with it. Worked very quickly.
Well, in that second inning, he was facing 6, 7, and 8 in the Blue Jays lineup. He took a different approach, and it was very effective. 3 ground ball outs. Breaking ball, strike 2. Wilson gave up an infield hit to start the inning, but it went out of the glove of the shortstop, Eric Ibar. Could have been first out of the inning. He was ruled a base hit. Kratz strikes out. The Blue Jays leave the bases loaded, but they score a run. They have cut into the lead. It's a 2-1 ball game as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. would lead things off for the Angels here in the bottom of the third. And we thought we'd go back a couple of generations and show you the comparison of Mickey Mantle, who was a very young star early in his career, to Mike Trout, who's just 22 years old.
You know, the only thing that separates these two in my mind is Mickey Mantle was a switch hitter and Mike Trout is not. But you compare the numbers, the style of play, the way they look, the positions they play, they're the same ball player. Mike Trout, through his first 400 baseball games, actually has better numbers, and that is really saying something. Youngest player to hit for the cycle in American League history also at the age of 21.
Yeah, when you talk about Mike Trout, there's so many things that he has done no one else has accomplished at such a young age. Marcus Stroman back in this ballgame. It's a 2-1 game. Ball on the strike.
This is going to be a great test, I think, for Marcus as his team scores him a run in the inning. He's going to face their toughest hitters. Let's see if he can shut him down here.
Mike Trout with a leadoff single. Hit it right back up the middle. Blue Jays have actually held Mike Trout in check. They've really never given up a lot of hits to Trout. He's done some damage. He's hit some home runs, 5 career home runs, but that's his first hit of the afternoon. Albert Pujols grounded to shortstop his first time up. Boy, that's a big inning for Stroman.
Yep.
Right after your team has given you a run.
You would like to make it a quick inning and send C.J. Wilson back out there because he did not look comfortable there in the third inning. Send him back out there as quick as possible. Tough task.
This part of the lineup is tough. That ball goes off of Kratz and will go back to the screen. Trout will move up on the wild pitch. Kratz never got his body squared up on that breaking ball, and it came right off his chest protector.
Breaking ball in the dirt, and yeah, he tried to get the arm down against his body to block it with some part of his body, but it went under his arm and ricocheted off the chest protector.
So that eliminates the opportunity for a double play. Trout now in scoring position for Pujols. Pujols checked his swing on that breaking ball. Pujols has 23 RBIs in his last 24 games. He has not really produced at the same rate he did while he was in St. Louis with the Cardinals.
Batting average, that's the thing. He's got the RBIs and he's got the home runs right now, but this guy was hitting 320, 330 when he was with the Cardinals.
In 11 years in St. Louis, he hit 328 and hit 445 home runs. You do the math. That's pretty consistent.
Yeah, for 11 years. He and Miguel Cabrera for a while were the best hitters in all of baseball.
There's a base hit to left field. Mike Trout went back. Now here's the throw to the plate. Cabrera has been accurate, and he's on the money again. What a terrific throw and a good tag by Eric Kratz. Melky Cabrera picks up another assist. He threw out Trout last night at third base, and this afternoon he gets him at home.
Well, there was no need to send him because he didn't get a good read or a good break at second base at all. It's a base hit off a slider. Good production right there from Pujols. But watch Trout. Still hasn't moved, and now I don't care how fast you are not going to score when the outfielder has the ball before you've reached the plate.
Kratz puts the tag on Trout. He's clearly out. Mike Scioscia has asked for a review. I mean, that wasn't even close. You really have to be impressed with the consistency of Cabrera's throws. He took his time, got on top of it. Generally, left-handed throwing outfielders will have a big tail on their throws from the outfield, but not Melky Cabrera.
No, he has been throwing great. all season long. That's 7 outfield assists now. He charges, throws an accurate one-hopper right to Kratz. I don't know where they saw that Trout, but that was not a very good idea right there to run. Melky Cabrera had the ball before Mike got to third base, and I don't care how fast you are, you're going to get thrown out by a big league.
This is a crew chief review, and they're not reviewing the tag. They're reviewing the position of the catcher, whether or not he gave the base runner, Mike Trout, an avenue, a lane to slide to. And it looked like he did, and the definition of the play suggests if the throw takes you into the base path, which this throw does, as Kratz is moving to catch the throw into the base path, I don't think you can say that he had set up to block the play.
No.
But then again, we've been wrong before. And now they put up the right hand, and the play on the field stands. So Cabrera picks up his 7th outfield assist. And the Angels, I'm with you. That was a curious time to send Mike Trout. The ball was hit right at the left fielder. He didn't have to run one side or the other.
He just didn't get a good read on it either.
Pujols ends up at second on the throw to the plate. Josh Hamilton struck out on a breaking ball his first time up. May have been a changeup right there. Dino Ebel is the bench coach, and you can see they're talking about the play at the plate. Trout got thrown out last night. There's another base hit into center field, and Mastriani is deep. They're waving Pujols home. The throw is cut off. They go to second. They'll tag out Hamilton, but Pujols comes in to score. Boy, oh boy, when you play so deep in the outfield, you're not going to have many chances to throw out runners at the plate on base hits.
Not at all. You're playing deep, and it was hit hard enough that they had a shot. This is Josh Hamilton's first hit against the Blue Jays this season. You can see how deep Mastriani is. He just has no shot of getting Pujols. Bautista did the heads-up play right there, acrobatic play, and cutting that ball off and getting that runner who was trying to move up.
We have talked about outfielders in general, and there is a trend in baseball to play the outfield as deep. But my take on it is, if the balls are hit that hard, they're going to be extra base hits anyway. So why not take away those sinking line drives and as many singles as you can take away?
And give yourself a chance to get the guy at the plate. It depends on who the hitter is. You know, if it's Miguel Cabrera, I'm going to play a little bit deeper than I would against Munenori Kawasaki. I get that.
Eric Ibar pulls it to first base. That's a fair ball. Bautista quickly to Stroman. The inning is over, but the Angels get back their run they lost in the top half of the inning. We'll go to the fourth. The Angels have a 3-1 lead. 60 seconds for the biggest at-bats in every game-changing play. Blue Jays in 60 seconds after every game, only on Sportsnet.ca. Beautiful afternoon here in Anaheim. The Blue Jays will wrap up this 3-game series. The Angels have won 8 straight home series. And that's how you become a contending ball club. You win your games at home and play for a 500 record at least on the road. The Angels currently 4.5 games back in the AL West. Oakland just won't slow down. They've won 6 in a row.
7 out of their last 10. Angels 4.5 behind the Oakland A's. The A's have the second best record at home. One fewer win than Los Angeles, but they're 27-18 on the road. Glad we're done playing them.
There's another base hit. Blue Jays get a leadoff single off the bat of Deanna Navarro. C.J. Wilson's not fooling the Blue Jays. They have just lost some base runners on the bases and haven't been able to capitalize. They had 3 hits in the first inning and didn't score. They had a couple of hits to start the the third inning and didn't score. Scored 1 run, so it's now a 3-1 game.
Didn't really fool the Blue Jays the last time they faced them back on May the 12th. 6 innings, he gave up 5 earned runs.
Hot shot right past Howie Kendrick into center field. Deanna Navarro will stop at second. Kendrick got ahead of himself. He could envision a double play, and it's an error on the second baseman.
Yeah, that was a play that we have seen Howie Kendrick make time and time again. Got a little bit too quick. One hopper. He stays down, tries to stay down on that ball, but it leaks under his glove. His 8th error of the season. The Blue Jays just like that. First 2 guys on.
Same situation last inning, and they had Tallison bunt Kawasaki, the number 9 hitter. Not showing bunt. He had a single off the glove of Eric Ibar. That started the 3rd inning. He came in to score the Blue Jays run.
Just a little bit tougher to bunt right now with the runner at second base. Doesn't run like Kawasaki did, what you were just talking about. Got the first 2 guys on, and then Tolleson bunted him over, a little bit more speed. Plus Mooney can handle that bat. He'll work the count. He's had a great road trip. I'm sure John Gibbons doesn't want to take the bat out of his hand that quickly.
Kawasaki is 8 for 19 on this road trip. He has scored 4 runs, and the Blue Jays haven't scored many. He takes his strike. He will make C.J. Wilson throw him a good pitch. Three and 1. Reyes is on deck. Jose is already 2 for 2. He has 7 hits, Reyes does, in this series. Kawasaki takes strike 2.
He was taken all the way right there. 3 and 1. I mean, he understands what's going on here. Wilson is having trouble throwing strikes. You can easily hit 3 and 2 as you can 3 and 1. So he took that 3-1 pitch.
The fly ball to left field. Hamilton makes the catch. Kawasaki's retired. I'll turn the lineup over back to the top of the order. Jose Reyes. Reyes is hitting over 350 for his career against the Angels. 2 more hits today. Came into this game as a 347 hitter against the Angels. Boy, since he has shortened up his stroke, he has really been putting good swings on the ball. He got a little bit long trying to do too much, but that 4-hit game last night, he had some great at-bats.
Yeah, a little bit too anxious before. His swing is a little bit on the level plane now. Before he was dropping that backside, popping that ball up. He's staying through the baseball so much better now. Isn't it funny how it comes and goes?
Well, I mean, that's the benefit of being an everyday player. You can ride the offers because you know the hits are going to come at some point.
And you can benefit because you're a veteran. You've been there before. You know the hits are going to be there. The organization, the manager, they got faith in you that because you've done it in the past.
3-0. Wilson has walked 2, 1 intentionally. Steve Tollefson is on deck. Blue Jays have stranded 5 base runners already in this game. Ball 4. That'll load the bases for Steve Tollefson. 3rd walk issued by C.J. Wilson.
Yeah, that has been a problem. Again, 8 innings in his last 2 starts, 5 walks. And that's going to bring pitching coach out once again.
The Angels beginning to stir down in their bullpen. Mike Butcher, another visit to the mound. An error in this inning could have been a double play ball. Hot shot off the bat of Darren Mastriani. As you see the bullpen starting to go to work, it's Cam Bedrosian who pitched in last night's game.
This has not been a very smoothly played game so far at all. Defensively, they're throwing the ball around both teams. Pitchers falling behind, throwing a lot of pitches.
There have been 3 errors committed. 2 by the Angels, 1 by the Blue Jays. Steve Tollefson. That one gets away, but not far enough. Navarro has to hold his ground at 3rd base. Tollefson has a .344 average against lefty pitching. Well, a big hit right now would be just what the doctor ordered for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, something that has been lacking on this road trip so far.
Bases loaded. Tollefson thought that might have been low, but it's now a 1-1 count. Foul back to the screen.
Steve has had some better cuts on this road trip. He took Sean Doolittle deep where the ball club was in Oakland. Getting some consistent playing time with all the left-handers that they have seen. Chance here against C.J. Wilson to do something.
That home run was a pinch hit home run off Sean Doolittle. His 3rd home run of the season. Bounce over the catcher back to the screen. Navarro's going to come in to score. That was a breaking ball, and Conger couldn't do anything about it. It hit in front of home plate and bounced all the way over his shoulder back to the screen.
Well, that's what the scouting report says. He's using the curveball more with 2 strikes. He's getting more strikeouts, but that one was a 55-footer. Not even close. Trying to guide it in there. Blue Jays will take that. Breaking ball. Way out in front of home plate.
So now there are runners at second and third, and C.J. Wilson has been out of sorts all afternoon.
Yeah, you could tell from the first inning, from the first batter he faced, Reyes.
Up the middle, that's a base hit. Mastriani's in to score. Reyes coming around third. There'll be no throw. And Steve Tollefson, a 2-run single, has given the Blue Jays the lead. RBIs number 9 and 10 for Tollefson.
Good at bat there. A big hit, a hit that scores more than 1 run. That's another thing that has been lacking. But they're getting the guys on. The air opened this inning up for the Blue Jays. Now they got to take advantage of it.
You mentioned the consistent play for Tollefson his last 4 games. He's at 500. Melky Cabrera is 1 for 2. 4-3 Blue Jays. Cabrera goes after the first pitch. Both teams defensively have created problems for their pitchers. An error by Howie Kendrick in this inning on a ball that could have been a double play. Could have been 2 outs, nobody on, but that led to first and second situation. Cabrera hits it to first, knocked down by Crone. He throws wild into left field. Once Crone knocked that ball down, he'd have been better off had he stepped on first. But things are a little bit shaky here today.
That's called compounding the problem right here. Comes off of first base. It's right out of it. You're right. As soon as he boots it, he doesn't have an angle to throw that ball to second base. Right through the baseline, so he pulls it into left field. Catch it. As soon as you drop it, pick it up, get an out.
Now he just whipped it towards second, had no idea where it was going. It's a fielder's choice, the air charge to the first baseman. And now Jose Bautista with a couple aboard. You would not take this game and use it as an instructional video, that's for sure.
Maybe on how not to play the game.
There's a strike. 7 runs, 13 hits, and 4 errors, and we're in the top of the 4th. Outside. Well, the Blue Jays need to build on that win last night. That snapped a 5-game losing streak. Just trying to keep things at bay. You got tip cap to R.A. Dickey, who is terrific over 7 innings. He threw 4-hit shutout ball. He and Josh Tolley worked very well again last night.
Had the great knuckleball working against a very hot team in the Angels.
High pop up. Freese flips the glasses down. Ibar comes over and Freese makes the catch. The infield fly rule was in effect, but it was a foul ball, and Bautista's out on the foul pop. Right fielder Nolan Reimel picked up his first RBI of the season. He had a bases loaded walk in the 3rd inning. He's got to be geared up for this first pitch. He is, and he drills it to the alley in right field. Pollison's around third. He's going to score. Melky's coming around third. The ball comes into the cutoff man, and Nolan Reimel his second and third RBI of the afternoon. Another double to right center.
Boy, you're right. Right after he got Bautista, pitchers will say, okay, that was tough. Then they forget about how good the next hitter is. And Reimold was waiting for that fastball, and he scalded it into the gap in right field. He's been around the game long enough to know when to look for a pitch. First pitch fastball. C.J. Wilson doesn't have it, and Nolan Reimold lines that ball into the gap, so much so that Melky can come all the way around from first base to score, and that's going to knock C.J. Wilson out of this game.
Second consecutive game he's left in the fifth. Cam Bedrosian in to face Eric Kratz when we come back. Of Major League Baseball. Listen to live audio, follow games pitch by pitch, and enjoy in-game video highlights. The app is available on the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Android, and BlackBerry. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. The Blue Jays trying to make it 2 in a row against the Angels. Have put up 5 runs here in the fourth, and they have knocked out C.J. Wilson. Cam Bedrosian pitched in last night's game. He worked the 9th inning, gave up a single, and had a strikeout.
Starting this season, he was the 10th ranked prospect in the Angels organization. He's got a big arm, but at times can lose the strike zone. 7 games this year. You can see his numbers right here. Sure, they were just use him to get through this inning and maybe one more because he pitched in last night's ball game.
Eric Kratz struck out with the bases loaded in the third. He is 0 for 2 so far. Just called back up from AAA Buffalo. First pitch is up and away. Nolan Reimold is at second base. He's had a big day. He's driven in 3 runs with the bases loaded walk and a 2-run double. Ball and a strike. Reimold really excited about the opportunity to play here for the Blue Jays. He has dealt some difficult injury issues the last couple of years, and he's healthy and feels great. And he's anxious for this opportunity. Upstairs, it's 2-1. Cam Bedrosian is the son of Steve Bedrosian, who is a great closer for a number of years.
Cy Young Award winner. Father was in 1987 with the Phillies.
Kratz goes after that high fastball. hit hard, and Freese makes a nice play, takes his time. The inning is over. But the Blue Jays score 5 runs. They have taken a 6-3 lead. Marcus Stroman will face Howie Kendrick when we come back. And Little League Canada, Lethbridge, Alberta, August 14th and 15th at Spitz Stadium. That's the site. The instructors include Roberto Alomar, Lloyd Mosby, Dwayne Ward, and Rance Mulliniks. Visit BlueJays.com/Baseball Academy for more information. The Toronto Blue Jays are proud supporters of amateur baseball across Canada. New York Yankees have gotten some bad news. They have placed Masahiro Tanaka on the DL with a sore elbow. He left the team, went back to New York, had that elbow checked out, and he has been placed on the DL.
Elbow inflammation. They also scratched Brett Gardner from the lineup today.
Brett Gardner is out of tonight's game with the Indians due to a lower abdominal strain.
It can change so fast,
can
it? Mm-hmm. You can have the best laid plans, get everything together, and in one day it could all change.
Well, it happened with the Blue Jays when Brett Lawrie broke his finger, and then shortly thereafter Bautista had a hamstring strain, and then Edwin went on the DL with a quad strain. You don't have your troops, it's tough to mount an attack.
And I'll tell you, John Gibbons has done a great job, I think, with the players that he has on the field, trying to put them in positions to be successful. He says it, no excuses. These are the guys I have. We're going to win with them. We're going to do the best we can.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised by the criticism he's taken over the platoon situation. What do you want him to do? Look at the numbers. The numbers are staring you right in the face. Guys aren't producing, so you got to try something. Howie Kendrick gets jammed and fouls it back. Kendrick had an RBI single back in the second. He's going to be sad to see this day come to an end.
He has really hit well against the Blue Jays. He has the most hits in Angels history as a second baseman.
There's a flare into right. Reimold comes in quickly. One down. Well, you talk about the standings in the AL East. Blue Jays are 2.5 back and 4 back of the Orioles in the loss column. The Yankees, they got that bad news with Tanaka going on the disabled list. They're back. How about the Red Sox today designating A.J. Pierzynski, their free agent catcher, signed in the offseason? They waving the white flag?
You know, there was some kind of talk the other day about the players saying they don't have the players or they have what it takes to win the division. So they do have a young player, a young catcher that they brought up today. I hear is pretty good.
Christian Vasquez makes a start tonight, his first big league start.
And when things aren't working, you're the defending World Series champions. You have to do something. You can't keep doing the same thing, losing day in, day out.
Changeup is fouled back by David Freese. Xander Bogaerts, a young infielder, since June 1st has hit 133. And he's playing every day.
Playing every day. Got plenty of at-bats.
They have not been able to overcome the loss of Jacoby Ellsbury, nor the loss of Jared Saltalamacchia. They have Stephen Drew back, but they lost him for half the season. You talk about things being fluid. There's a perfect example. From worst to first, back to worst.
How about that? One year, everything went right for the Red Sox. Everything fell into place. They hit. They stayed relatively healthy. Pitchers made their starts. They won the World Series. And now they can't do anything right.
David Freese fouls it back. Freese had an RBI single to center his first time up. He went after the first pitch and drove home Howie Kendrick. Check swing foul. Inside fastball. Marcus Stroman with the lead. We're only in the fourth. It has been a sloppy game on both sides. Stroman came out fire and strikes in the first inning. He retired the side in order. Threw a lot of fastballs, and then wheels fell off in the second inning after an error by Reyes. That led to 2 runs. And here Freese takes a 1-out walk. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Beautiful afternoon here in Southern California. The Blue Jays have a 6-3 lead. C.J. Cron has a base hit in his only at bat. Cron, just 24 years old. He has risen quickly through the minor league system. This is his 4th year of pro baseball. He takes a strike. Cron started out in Salt Lake City in the Pacific Coast League this season. He played 28 games to start the season. He swung the bat well and was rewarded with the call-up. It's his first season in the big leagues. But you look at this lineup for the Angels.
It's another high draft pick that the Angels hit on.
Number 1 pick in 2011. Mike Scioscia has Hank Conger, who was a number 1 pick in 2006. Mike Trout, number 1 pick in 2009. 3 young players in the lineup, all first-round picks. There's another base hit for C.J. Cron. Melky Cabrera hustles over into the alley. He's got to go back to keep it a double play in order as he throws it into second base.
Save during the plumbing, cooling, and electrical expert sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Pete Walker, the pitching coach, out to talk to his young right-hander, Marcus Stroman. He is also talking to the catcher, maybe about some pitch selection as they have come back a bit. 1 out, walk, and a single now. 1st and 3rd for Hank Conger.
like a fastball that they tried to get inside, but it stays over the middle of the plate. Didn't get solid wood on that. Drove it out into the outfield, but didn't get enough solid wood to get it by the outfielders.
Hank Conger, we mentioned earlier, hit a home run off of Marcus Stroman at Rogers Center earlier this season. Blue Jays infield set for the double play.
That's what you have to keep telling yourself right there if you're pitching. First and third, just one out. I'm one pitch out of getting out of this. All I have to do is I've got to execute whatever you think it is. If it's your two-seam sinker or if it's a curveball, changeup, whatever you think it is, make a good pitch here. If you get the ball on the ground, you got a good chance of getting out of here.
Downstairs. Todd Redmond has started to throw for the Blue Jays in their bullpen. Just the fourth inning. Both pitchers, the starters, C.J. Wilson's already out of the game. He went 3 2/3. That ball gets away from Kratz and goes back to the screen, and Freese comes in to score. It's a wild pitch charged to Stroman.
Couple of balls back to the screen now. That one looked like it was a blockable ball. Spikes it into the ground. Eric tries to backhand it, and it gets by him.
Kratz, by the time he retrieves it, Freese steps on home plate. Second wild pitch of the afternoon, charged to Stroman. C.J. Cron now in scoring position at second. This hasn't been a masterpiece by any means. Walks, errors, wild pitches, a little bit of everything.
Hey, it's early.
What's that mean?
I don't know.
It's going to get worse.
But you hear guys say that all the time.
It's early, yeah. Okay. Hank Conger with a 3-2 count, 1 out. Pops it back out of play into the seats.
Yeah, I don't know if both these teams got their wake-up calls yet. 12:30 start.
Early start, day game after night game. Blue Jays took batting practice. They were out moving around. Angels didn't have batting practice on the field. Pulled to the right side. Kawasaki at second. Goes to first. Conger is retired. 2 down. Cron goes to third base. Bo Calhoun has struck out both times he's faced Marcus Stroman this afternoon. (6-4) Blue Jays lead. Calhoun checks his swing on that ball in the dirt. Go Calhoun, since the 29th of May, is at .357. He's having a tough start to his day this afternoon.
Yeah, he is just what they needed at the top of that lineup. He's been getting on base, scoring runs in bunches for the Angels. But today, Marcus Stroman's had his number.
Fastball has given Calhoun fits. He struck out on 3 fastballs his first time up. Hits this one high and deep to right. Ryan rolled back. This ball is gone. just like that, it's a 6-6 game. Home run number 10 for Cole Calhoun.
And he'll add to his major league leading run scored since that May 29th. That's his 32nd run score. 2-0 fastball, and he's looking for a ball that's down the middle. Something grooved right into his swing, and he got it. Looked like he choked up on the bat just a little bit, gave him a little bit more back control, a little bit more bat speed, and home run has tied it up.
So Marcus Stroman won't get out of the fourth. He fell behind Cole Calhoun and throws one right down the middle. Home run number 10 for Calhoun. It's a 6-6 game. Todd Redmond into the ball game. Neither starter could make their way out of the fourth inning. C.J. Wilson out. 3 2/3, 8 hits. He was charged with 6 runs, 5 earned. The lines are almost identical.
Todd Redmond into the ballgame. This is the third time that we have seen him on this road trip. He's pitched 3 innings so far in 7 games. He's only given up 1 hit. Chance now to get some multiple innings. He just pitched 2 days ago in this series.
Came into that ball game and pitched 2 innings. Did a nice job. Allowed just 1 hit. So it's a battle of the bullpens from here on out. A 6-6 game. Each team with 6 runs on 8 hits. There's a high pop-up into shallow right. Kawasaki battling the sun. Calls for it, and Trout's retired. The inning is over. It's a 6-6 game as we go to the top of the 5th. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Eric Smith and Greg Zahn. Hooker and Joe Siddle. John Gibbons joins every Thursday. Baseball Central at noon. Weekdays on Sportsnet 590, The Fan. Tomorrow they'll have a lot to talk about. And it's early.
It's early. See? If you just throw it's early in
it's
there
early
all the time.
Yeah. No matter what it is. Well, we're down by 6, but it's early.
It's early.
We're up by 6, yeah, but it's early.
Yeah.
And now we're tied 6-6, and it's still early. I go to the 5th. Cam Bedrosian, young right-hander, into the ball game. Came in last inning and got Eric Kratz to ground out.
Battle of the bullpens. You're absolutely right. They have 6 right-handers and 1 left-hander in their bullpen, and it's well rested.
Jerry DiPoto, the GM of the Angels, is talking about adding another arm to their bullpen. They just picked up Joe Thatcher and Jason Grilli, but they're still looking to add maybe another left-hander.
Yeah, don't you think a lefty? They only have 1 out there.
Johnny Navarro will turn around and bat left-handed for the first time. Navarro had a leadoff single in the 4th. He came around to score on a 2-run single off the bat of Steve Pallison. Colby Rasmus has grabbed a bat. He's come out on deck. He would bat for Mastriani. With Rasmus out on deck, Joe Thatcher has started to throw in the Angels bullpen. The veteran left-hander, it won't take him many tosses to get loose.
Would they burn their only lefty?
Yeah,
in
it's
the 5th
awfully
inning
early. Yeah.
To get him up, I'm sitting here. We're watching him get loose, and he's getting loose very quickly. Mike Scioscia is looking at that card, figuring how he's going to get down there. If I was Mike Scioscia, I would let John Gibbons make all of his moves in bringing in all his left-handers. Then you can pick and choose later in the game when you want to bring in your only lefty.
Yeah, when you only have one left-hander, you really have to pick your spots. And you're right, it's 5th inning. I mean, there's going to be a lot of baseball left in this game. But Scioscia knows his team very well. There's a fly ball. This is trouble down the left field line. It's going to drop in front of Josh Hamilton. Navarro is headed for second, and he'll slide in safely ahead of the throw. Another leadoff hit. This a leadoff double for Navarro.
Keep on swinging it. They started showing signs last night where they got 14 hits against the Angels, scored 4 runs, and they're doing it again this afternoon. Navarro just slices that ball down the left field line. Hamilton no chance to throw him out of second base. It's a leadoff double.
Colby Rasmus has been announced into the game. So with that, Mike Scioscia will take the ball from Cam Bedrosian and call upon his only left-hander, Joe Thatcher. So it'll be lefty on lefty when we come back. The Blue Jays have a runner at second and nobody out. Sportsnet live on your smartphone. Visit RogersAnyplaceTV.com/sports to get started. Well, Mike Scioscia has burned his only left-handed pitcher in his bullpen. Joe Thatcher has been summoned into the game after Colby Erasmus was announced as the pinch hitter.
Just acquired him, and they're going to use him here in the 5th inning against a couple of left-handers coming up for the Blue Jays. Thatcher was not drafted when he was a senior at Indiana State, so he pitched in the Frontier League for the River City Bandits. Brewer scouts saw him, signed him, got him into the big leagues, and he's done a nice job. 25 strikeouts, just 3 walks this year.
Colby Erasmus hitting for Darren Mastriani. .214 average for the season. Rasmus against lefties, 7 for 42. That's a 167 average. Navarro at second.
Thatcher's got a fastball about 91 or 92, but the big pitch against those left-handers, that sweeping slider, you saw him use right there for the first pitch to Colby. He is aggressive, and he likes to challenge hitters.
On Monday, Thatcher was in the game, and they countered with Darren Mastriani. Thatcher was removed. Jason Grilli came in, and Mastriani struck out as a pinch hitter. Now the reverse is the case with Rasmus hitting for Mastriani. Two balls and a strike. Deoner Navarro with a leadoff double. He is perched at second base. It's a 6-6 ball game. Inside, 3-1. Munenori Kawasaki is on deck. Now it's a full count. The Angels will leave after this game and go down to finish up their first half against Texas Rangers. 4-game series that starts tomorrow night. Ball 4. Rasmus takes the ball inside. So Thatcher called upon to get the left-handed hitter, loses the first one in Rasmus.
That's huge right there. They did not bunt last time in this situation when they had the first 2 runners on base last inning. So I don't think they're going to bunt now.
Kawasaki has hit .292 against lefty pitching. He's 7 for 24, so he has held his own. He shows bunt and bunts it out in front of home. Conger goes to third for 1, and that's all they'll get. A nice play by Hank Conger, the catcher, as he got out behind home plate. You mentioned it earlier with Navarro running at second. It's tough to bunt him to third base. You practically have to make a perfect bunt.
Yeah, it almost has to be a perfect bunt. And with the left-hander on the mound, Kawasaki squares around, but Conger off with the mask quickly and catches that ball on 1 bounce, and it's an easy play. Watch how quickly he gets up, throws that mask. Freese had thoughts of going over to first base for a double play. And a nice play by Conger.
Jose Reyes has a perfect day going. 2 hits and a walk. Fouls that right
Make
back our way. Just over in the Angels broadcast booth.
Smart move. That's a veteran move right there by Mark Gubicza.
Never moved.
He never moved. He never made an attempt on that one.
Ball and a strike to Reyes. Way inside. Thatcher chased Rasmus back to second. Rasmus not a base stealing threat. Blue Jays aren't going to run in this situation the way that Reyes has been swinging the bat.
No, not the way that Jose's been swinging it. Don't want to be running into an out.
He pops this one up. It's playable over near the Blue Jays dugout, and it's going to be into the dugout. C.J. Cron ran out of room. So Reyes will have another opportunity. Seven for 11 in this series with 3 RBIs. Hit a 2-run home run last night. Part of a 4-hit game. This is going to be a battle of wills and commitment today. Who wants it the most? Reyes pulls it foul to stay alive.
These kind of games it's always like that, isn't it? The toughness, mental toughness, the weather. Both teams are going to get on a plane after this game and head out to their next series.
And it's an important game for both clubs. The Angels are trying to keep pace with the Oakland Athletics. They are 4.5 back in their division. The Blue Jays are 2.5 back of the Orioles. Nobody wants to go into a prolonged skid going into the All-Star break. John Gibbons would love to be able to salvage this game and win the series. Reyes strikes out. So that's the second out of the inning, as they had a fielder's choice. Got the leadoff man. Reyes strikes out. Here are the standings in the American League West. The Athletics, Oakland, has won 6 in a row. And they have played great at home, just like the Angels. And now Mike Scioscia making the move out of the Angels dugout. Got a right-hander up. Steve Tolleson had a 2-run single. But you're right, the Angels have burned their left-hander here in the 5th inning, and there are going to be plenty of opportunities. Scioscia hasn't made the call yet. It's Tolleson and Melky Cabrera, a switch hitter behind him.
Taking his time right here, and now he's going to go ahead and call for the bullpen. So that's good. Get that left-hander out there. That makes Francisco and Lynn, the other lefties, and Josh Tolley on the bench valuable.
So Fernando Salas, the right-hander, will come into the game. Thatcher is done for the afternoon. Steve Tolleson will bat against Salas when we come back. Well, there's a lot going on in this ball game so far as Fernando Salas comes on. He is the third Angel reliever to work in this game. This will be his 30th appearance. Joe Thatcher was able to strike out Reyes. Now Salas is on to face the pinch hitter.
Third Angel reliever to work this inning as they try to win the fifth innings. Juan Francisco is going to come off the bench and pinch hit. Salas has a good fastball, low 90s. It really jumps on the hitters. Tight slider. He locates the fastball well, but he will give up his share of home runs, and there's a home run hitter coming up for the Blue Jays.
Juan Francisco coming on to pinch hit for Steve Tollison. Tollison had a good day at the plate. Finished up 1 for 2, scored a run and drove in 2. Francisco, big bat off the bench. Francisco is 2 for 6 as a pinch hitter. He has a pinch hit home run. He hit in Cincinnati.
That was a big one. That one was down the left field line off of a fastball. He'll get plenty of fastballs from Salas.
Pitch is down and away. It's a ball and a strike. Salas turned 29 years old on the 30th of May. There's a fastball. He pitched in 27 games last year with the Cardinals. He was on the disabled list for a month. He came along with David Freese in the Peter Borges trade.
Another
took
piece
place last November.
Another piece for their bullpen, another hard thrower. That's one thing that they've tried to do is load up with some guys who throw hard.
Well, we saw Jason Grilli this morning as he was coming into the ballpark, and he was thrilled to be here with the Angels. Get another opportunity, a little change of scenery for Grilli, former closer of the Pirates.
Got a chance to get in the playoffs with this team.
Downstairs, it's 2-2. Kobe Rasmus is at second base. Munenori Kawasaki's at first. Rasmus drew a walk as a pinch hitter. Breaking ball, and Francisco strikes out. Salas comes in to end the threat. We'll go to the bottom of the fifth in Anaheim. It's a Pujols has hit 19 home runs this season, and there's a distinctive pattern to where he hits those pitches and where he likes them.
Don't hang him anything. Look where all of these pitches are relative to the strike zone. Home run by pitch type, fastball, changeup, splitter, and slider. It doesn't matter. It's where it is, and it's up in the strike zone. Those are called hangers right there, and he has really hit them hard this season. 19 home runs for Pujols.
It's not unusual that an experienced hitter like Pujols has become a very good breaking ball hitter. When you make a mistake with a breaking ball, he will wear it out.
It's really interesting to look at those heat lamps right there, where the home runs that he hits compared to Mike Trout's, where his is a low ball, strike ball type of hitter.
This is popped up behind second base. Kawasaki is waiting on it, and Pujols is retired. Well, that's a good point. We had shown the Mike Trout heat zone. He likes everything down. Of course, he's 22 years old. He's got a lightning quick bat, and he can get to that low pitch very easily. Pujols, as he has gained more experience and gotten a little older, has been patient enough to make sure the ball is up.
It's up, and that's where he likes it. So that's why pitchers have to be able, I think, to have game plans, carry him out, and command that fastball.
In case you're just joining us, both starters have been knocked out of this game early. C.J. Wilson and Marcus Stroman both pitched 3 2/3 innings. They both gave up 6 runs. Wilson charged with 3 earned runs. Stroman charged with 5 earned runs. And now the battle of the bullpens. Hamilton swings right through that pitch. Another fastball, and he is late.
He broke a 0 for 16 in his last at bat when he singled, but he was thrown out trying to make it from first to second on the throw home. It was cut off beautifully by Bautista and got him at second base. But he has been swinging like that all season long, right through everything.
2 down.
Save during the plumbing, cooling, and electrical expert sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Welcome back to Anaheim Angels Stadium. This is a pop-up left fielder. Melky Cabrera battling the sun, using his hand to shade his eyes. Quick inning for Todd Redmond. He's retired all 4 he's faced. We'll go to the 6th. presented by Bacardi. Friday, July 18th, the Blue Jays take on the Texas Rangers. Game time is 7:07 p.m. Come on down to Rogers Center early. Check out the pregame festivities happening outside of Gate 10. Win great prizes, enjoy live music, and there's a licensed area. Gates open at 4:30 p.m. Call the Blue Jays today at 416-341-1234 or log online at bluejays.com for the Summer Friday Fan Festival presented by Bacardi. Blue Jay fans having a good day here in the sun in Southern California. It's a 6-6 game, a lot of offense, and a few too many errors.
But a good game. Tie game. Bullpens get to battle it out now. These kind of games, when you've been out in the sun all day, it's a battle of attrition. Who's mentally tough enough to bring it on home?
Well, especially this time of the year, players are looking ahead to the All-Star break, and they'll have 4 days off starting Monday, and it's easy to be distracted. Fernando Salas, the third reliever to work in this game, came in to strike out the pinch hitter Juan Francisco to end the fifth. Salas was originally signed by the Cardinals out of the Mexican League. He was playing in Saltillo, and he signed with the Cardinals, and he loses Melky Cabrera, a leadoff walk. Blue Jays have been issued 5 walks here this afternoon. That's been a big part of their offense all season long. When they rack up the walks, they've been able to score some runs.
Yeah, combine those with the base hits. That's what was missing when they were in Oakland. Those sustained innings where you were hitting for a while and you're going through the lineup. This is the 4th time that the Blue Jays have hit already. It's just the 6th inning.
Jose Bautista, big cut on the first pitch. Bautista has walked and popped out. He's also been given a free pass. The intentional walk came into third. Cabrera gets back to first. Melky's got 4 stolen bases in 5 attempts. Outside. Both those fastballs down and away from Bautista, not wanting to challenge him with anything inside.
Yeah, that's always a good sign when Jose's laying off that pitch. He'll give up his share of home runs, Will Salas.
Bautista thought that pitch was outside. Jim Wolf brings him up. Pitch tracker suggests it may have been off the plate outside. Boy, they are playing Bautista to pull, but pitching him away, and that has created a big alley right through the first base side of the infield, all the way to right center.
You've heard that old saying in baseball, pitch him away, play him away, that kind of thing. They do the opposite. They pitch him away, play him to pull, so that gives Bautista a chance to just roll one through the right side. Crone's got to hold Melky on at first base.
I think what teams are trying to do is just to have Bautista go away from his strength, which is hitting home runs, but he's become very adept at hitting that ball the opposite field.
This is a perfect opportunity for it right here. We'll take a home run, but just as soon take a base hit to right.
He got a hanger right there and fouled it back out of play. Down and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the cleanup hitter for the Blue Jays, Jose Bautista. Nolan Reimold is on deck, and he's had a big day. There's a drive into center. Mike Trout is there and nearly in his steps. Blue Jays will have an off day on Thursday. They'll pick things up on Friday, and it'll be Mark Burley opening up the 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. Drew Hutchison will pitch in front of a lot of family and friends. He grew up in Lakeland, Florida, not far from St. Petersburg. And then Jay Happ will pitch the first half finale on Sunday.
They will be opposed by Chris Archer, David Price, and Jake Odorizzi in that order. Jay Happ gets to go back to Tampa, the site of the spot where he was hit last year.
Last May, he got hit by a line drive. Nolan Reimold had a 3 RBI afternoon, had a bases loaded walk and a 2-run double. Big swing and then high fastball. He's a bit late. It is hot. Jose Reyes acknowledging that. 26 degrees at the start of this game. Nolan Reimold joined the Blue Jays off the waiver wire. He came from Baltimore. He is 30 years old. Had a good rip at that pitch. He has dealt some serious injuries to deal with. He had Achilles surgery in 2009, and then he's had 2 surgeries to repair a bulging disc. He's had spinal fusion. Take care of a bulging disc in his neck.
And that has some problems that created other problems with his body, didn't it?
He lost feeling in his hand. He had no use of his left arm for a long time, and his career was in jeopardy, but he feels great now, and he's happy to be back on the field.
You know, he looks good, too. And John Gibbons was saying the other day that he's going to be playing right field until Jose is better and can get back in the outfield. I think it has more to do with Edwin Encarnacion. He's on the disabled list. Jose will probably play first base.
Probably until Edwin can get back.
Right.
Full count, 1 out.
We'll see.
Quick throw to first, and Cabrera just back ahead of the tag.
I'm sure we'll see Adam Lind at first base also, and Jose DH him, but they want to see what Reimold can do in the outfield. And he looks, to me, he looks really good.
Well, and the problem has been Blue Jays haven't been able to hit against left-handed pitching. And Reimold has hit the same, about 250 against both lefties and righties throughout his career. Salas forces Cabrera back to first. I believe they're going to start Melky Cabrera right here in this situation. Say 3-2 count, 1 out.
Mike Scioscia does too. He keeps calling for the throw over.
There goes Cabrera, pulled on the ground, past Ibar in the left. Melky continues on to third. Nolan Reimold has his second hit of the afternoon. Cabrera was running on the 3-2 pitch. Reimold pulled it past Ibar in the left.
Ibar, the shortstop, almost came up with that one. But the Blue Jays play hit and run when they're ahead in the count 3-1, and it pays off. Ibar, watch him at shortstop. He was not covering but the ball was placed beautifully by Raimel, pulls it in the hole, and Ibar can't come up to it. Melky Cabrera aggressively goes all the way to third base, and now a chance for Kratz to drive in a run.
Eric Kratz has 10 RBIs this season. Takes a first pitch strike. Kratz is 0 for 3 so far. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout.
Trying to make that leadoff walk hurt. Come back to hurt Salas. Walked Melky on 4 pitches.
Oh, and 2. Kratz would love to get something to the outfield.
Yeah.
Get that pitch up in the zone and drive it to the outfield.
Just make contact. The way they've been throwing it around today. Take a chance.
In the dirt. Auger blocks it and the runners hold. You got to believe that Salas is trying to get back to that high fastball to finish off this at bat.
He showed him that breaking ball down and away. Struck out 1 time already today. Eric Kratz did on a high fastball. Sure, it's coming right here. There it is.
Came right back with a fastball and strikes out Kratz. For those of you who are just joining us, C.J. Wilson started this game for the Angels. He lasted just 3 2/3. He was charged with 6 runs, 3 earned runs. Gave up 8 hits, walked 3, and struck out a batter. Both starters went just 3 2/3 here this afternoon, knocked out of the game.
He wasn't sharp at all from the first pitch. As soon as he took the mound, you can tell he wasn't comfortable. Defense didn't help him out. They've contributed with 3 errors, the Angels.
Gianner Navarro, the DH, trying to pick up Eric Kratz. Melky Cabrera with the leadoff walk has moved to third on the base hit by Raimel. Strike out on the outside corner. Wilson started. Cam Bedrosian came in the ball game. Angels have used their only left-hander, Joe Thatcher. He has been in and out of the game. Now Salas, big right-hander for the Angels. There's a base hit into left field. Melky Cabrera comes in to score. Raimel stops at second, and Gianner Navarro picks up another RBI. Navarro with a 3-hit game.
What a piece of hitting right there by Gianner Navarro. Look for that ball away. Salas's fastball will tail just a little bit, look for it away, and go the other way. That's what he does. You can see Navarro, he knows that one's going to fall in for an RBI hit. Blue Jays come up with a big 2-out hit with a runner in scoring position.
Melky Cabrera comes around after that leadoff walk. Blue Jays now lead it 7-6. Colby Erasmus entered the game as a pinch hitter in the 5th. Erasmus walked against Joe Thatcher. Two.
Colby can have the same approach that Navarro just had right now. Think about left center field. They've got the three infielders on the right side. That's Howie Kendrick in short right field. A lot of room on the left side.
And there's a drive to left center. Mike Trout over quickly and makes a diving catch. Looked like it was going to be extra bases for Colby Erasmus, but Mike Trout with the diving catch ends the inning. Trout got a good break and a good jump and makes a nice sliding catch, but the Blue Jays have taken a 7-6 lead. Todd Redmond. Well, there was a first pitch outside to Howie Kendrick, the second baseman. Kendrick with another base hit against the Blue Jays. He's 1 for 2. Also has an RBI.
He's going to be sorry to see the Blue Jays finish up with them after this afternoon.
Put up big numbers against the Jays this season. 291 average. There's a fly ball into shallow left. Melky Cabrera comes in. Kendrick's retired. Redmond has retired all 5 men he's faced. Pat Redmond's done a nice job pitching long relief. It is not a glorious role in the bullpen, but a very important one.
It is, and there was a time he didn't pitch for about 2 weeks this season, and John Gibbons, always trying to keep his players loose, went up to him one day after batting practice and introduced himself. Said, "Hi, I'm the manager, John Gibbons. I know I haven't used you. Stay with me." And you're right, it's not glorious. You might, the pitchers, the starters doing so well that you might not pitch for a couple of weeks. But you have to stay ready and you have to stay sharp.
Yeah, it's a difficult role because you're only going to pitch if the starters fail. And that's a tough role. You don't want to see your teammates fail, but Todd Redmond has kept himself ready.
Yeah, to his credit, he comes in and he throws strikes. Again, he just threw 2 innings a couple of days ago. Yeah, he's working on an inning and 2/3 right now, trying to get through this inning and then give John Gibbons some options to finish it off.
Well, Todd's a big, strong guy, and he hasn't worked an awful lot, so he should have the ability to give you some length here. Blue Jays have an off day tomorrow, so they can unload their tank down in that bullpen. David Freese takes a 1-out walk. He's been on base all 3 times this afternoon. He has a single, and he's walked twice. C.J. Cron, he's had a good day at the plate. He is 2 for 2. Pete Walker with a slow walk out to the mound. That's the first base runner to reach against Todd Redmond. Aaron Loop is loosening up. Like we said, the Blue Jays have the off day, so we don't have to save anybody for tomorrow's game.
Nope. They're well rested. R.A. Dickey's given them some big innings on this road trip through a complete game in Oakland to give the bullpen a blow. Through 7 innings yesterday, so they're well rested.
C.J. Cron. He singled in the second. He singled in the fourth. Came around to score in that fourth inning. He scored on the home run by Cole Calhoun. Cron's got good power to the opposite field, and Blue Jays defense is reflecting that. Bobby Rasmus is shaded over on the right of center. Nolan Brimo basically straight away in right.
Yeah, deep in center field and deep in right field, respecting that power.
The slider is in there. That evens the count at 1-1. Now it's 1-2. Redmond, you mentioned he comes in and fires strikes, and that's exactly what you want. And if you're pitching in this role, I mean, he's the pitcher of record because the starter didn't go the requisite 5 innings to qualify for a decision. Breaking ball, and Cron with the emergency hack stays alive. He was fooled on that pitch and just was able to foul it back.
Slider off the plate. How did he get a piece of that? As a long reliever, you want to get in and get out. Throw as few pitches as you can so you can last a little bit longer. That's what Redmond does. Basically a fastball, slider, and a split changeup. Can throw them all for strikes.
Strike 3 called. There's that good fastball down and away. Cron didn't like the call. Big strikeout for Redmond, his second. So Redmond strikes out Cron. Hank Conger is a switch-hitting catcher. He's the scheduled batter. John Gibbons has come out of the Blue Jays dugout, and he'll make a pitching change. So Redmond does a good job here this afternoon. He'll turn things over to the left-hander, Aaron Loop, coming into the ballgame. the ninth inning in last night's game, but he threw just 7 pitches, got 3 ground ball outs, and closed out that 4-0 win. His 43rd appearance of the season.
They've used him a lot, and he has responded with a 2-1 record, a 295 earned run average. It's the 7th game on this road trip, 4th time that we have seen Aaron on this trip. He's done a very good job this season and on this road trip, firing strikes consistently.
Todd Redmond goes 2 innings, didn't allow a hit, walked the batter, and struck out 2. Hank Conger, a switch hitter, will turn around and bat right-handed for the first time this afternoon. Conger, 250 right-handed, goes after the first pitch, and Reyes bobbles it, but he recovers in time to get the force out at second. That ends the inning. Aaron Loup needs just 1 pitch to close out the Angels in the 6th. July 28th, when the Blue Jays take on the Texas Rangers. Game time is 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays tumbler cup. Call the Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234 or log online at BlueJays.com to get your tickets for Blue Jays Tumbler Giveaway Day, Sunday, July 20th. The 4th reliever of the afternoon is into the ball game. It's the big right-hander Jason Grilli. You see his numbers between Pittsburgh and the Angels. A .391 earned run average for the big right-hander.
Closer last year for the Pittsburgh Pirates, had a great season. Was the closer this year until he lost that, and then eventually was traded over here for a closer who struggled for the Angels, Ernesto Friere. 11 for 15 in saves this year, an ERA of 3.9 for Grilli. Still throws hard. And a good breaking ball.
Grilli pitched in the postseason last year for the Pirates, a total of 3 1/3 in 4 appearances. He pitched a perfect 9th inning in the wild card game against the Reds on the 1st of October. Grilli was originally drafted by the San Francisco Giants. #1 pick out of Seton Hall in New Jersey. Munenori Kawasaki's been on base twice. He singled and scored in the 3rd, reached on a fielder's choice on a sacrifice bunt attempt. Grilli was a starter early in his career. Made 8 starts with the Chicago White Sox in 2004. He actually pitched in Calgary for parts of 3 seasons, coming through the minor leagues. He went from the Giants to the Marlins, the parent club of the Calgary AAA team, in a July 1999 trade deadline deal for Livan Hernandez. Kawasaki strokes it into left field. Boy, he has worn out that left field.
Save during the plumbing, cooling, and electrical expert sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Beautiful Southern California on a gorgeous summer day as the Blue Jays are wrapping up their West Coast swing on this trip. Kawasaki with his second hit. He has 9 hits on this road trip.
They might have to start putting a guy out in short left field. You know,
little rover out there.
The rover. I mean, he has worn that out in Oakland and now here in Anaheim.
Well, you got to tip your cap to Kawasaki. He knows who he is as a player, and he doesn't try to do anything more than he's capable of. Reyes shows bunt, pulls the bat back. We're in the 7th inning. Blue Jays have a 7-6 lead. Good off-speed pitch had Reyes way out in front.
See the difference in the swings from Reyes? That one was long. There was a lot of movement in his body. His home run and his base hit yesterday and his base hit today, very controlled, under control, just using his hands.
Pops this one up. Ibar, the shortstop, on the edge of the outfield grass, makes the catch. Reyes is retired, 1 down. Juan Francisco will bat with a man at first. Francisco entered the game as a pinch hitter in the 5th and struck out against Fernando Salas. Steve Tollison got the start at third base, and he had a good day. Had a 2-run single in the 4th inning, part of a 5-run inning. Grilly spent the last 3 seasons with the Pirates. It's where he had the most success of his career. Last year he had 33 saves as the Pirates closer. Spent some time in Chicago, as we mentioned. A couple of different stints with the Florida Marlins early in his career. Pitched in relief for the Tigers parts of 3 seasons. Spent time in Colorado, Texas, Pittsburgh, and now the Angels. That's going to reach the seats out of play. Jason Grilly's father, Steve Grilly, pitched for the Tigers and for the Blue Jays. Steve Grilly was a right-handed pitcher, certainly not the same stature of Jason Grilly. Jason's a big man. Steve was tall but a much slighter body, and he had a pretty good arm as well.
He was happy to see you this morning.
Yeah, I saw
him, huh?
Jason. We were teammates, his father and I, down in Puerto Rico in winter ball. And Jason was a toddler when my son Casey was as well. They were down in winter ball, crawling around in our apartment in Puerto Rico.
So he was too small to throw batting practice to BP.
Yes, much too small.
Much too small. Okay.
They were probably just under 2 at that time.
He's had a good career. He's bounced around.
Throws that pitch up and away, and he's dealt with some injuries as well. He missed the entire 2010 season because of injuries. Melky Cabrera is on deck. Melky has been on base 3 times again today. What a play by Cronin, and he throws wild at second again. C.J. Cron threw that before he had to. And he just made a wild throw without any direction whatsoever and pulled Ibar off the bag at second. That should have been a easy double play.
He had more time than he thought he did. The ball was hit so hard. He catches it. Now, take a crow hop, find where the infielder is, get on top of the ball, throw a strike to second base, and that's an easy double play.
Yeah, he made a similar throw wildly into left field back in the 4th inning.
Never like to see corner infielders throw sidearm like that because the ball, you never know where it's going to go. It's going to move, making it very tough for that middle infielder to turn that double play. Catches that ball, stay on top, throw overhand, and they'd be hitting right now.
Melky Cabrera with a chance to pad the Blue Jays lead has to bail out in a hurry. Up and in. Really pushed him back out of the batter's box. Melky Cabrera is 0 for 5 against Jason Grilli. Two and 0. Important run at second base
for both teams. Angels want to keep it off the board. Blue Jays want to try and cash it in. Kawasaki doesn't take a primary lead very far, but then a secondary lead is excellent to try and score on any ball to the outfield. Some good throwing arms in the outfield for the Angels.
You got Hamilton in left, Trout in center, and Calhoun in right. They all throw well, charge the ball effectively, but they are deep. They're a long way away from the infield. Melky Cabrera with a 3-0 count. Takes a strike. Jose Bautista is on deck. Jason Grilli, the 4th Angels reliever to pitch this afternoon. Ball 4. Grilli loses Melky Cabrera. Blue Jays can win this series with a win today, and you can see this is a tough place for visiting ball clubs. The Angels have the top home record in baseball, 31-15, and Blue Jays just left Oakland, and they're right behind the Angels.
They beat the Blue Jays in the first game here to give them 11 straight here, which is the longest home win streak since 2013. They came 1 win short of tying the longest in their history, which was from the 1967 baseball season. And they've also won 8 straight series here. Blue Jays are trying to snap that with a win today.
Yeah, they have not lost a series in their last 8 home series, and Blue Jays trying to snap that streak as well. So now Jose Bautista will bat with 2 outs and 2 on. Jays have collected 12 hits. That ball gets away from Conger, and Grilli gets on it quickly. Kawasaki had to hold at second. Bautista goes around, according to Brian Gorman, down at first.
Yeah, he's guessing fastball, and they're throwing him a breaking ball. We haven't seen this from Bautista. Not too many check swings. It's called a strike by the crew chief.
0-2. Bautista lined out hard to the center fielder back in the 6th. Way upstairs. Breaking ball pulled foul down the third baseline. Kawasaki was off on contact. He was around third base. This is a big run.
Yeah. They got the right hitters at the plate to try and knock him in.
Looking ahead to the bottom of the 7th, it'll be the top of the order for the Angels. This is the 7th game of this 10-game road trip. Blue Jays 1-5 so far. Another fastball way upstairs. Of course, the Blue Jays will go down and play Tampa Bay, a place where they've never had much success. Tampa Bay starting to play a little bit better of late.
Starting to get their pitchers back. Their pitchers are starting to perform. Starting to hit a little bit.
Foul back into the upper deck, right behind home plate. Tampa Bay has won 8 of their last 10 games. They are still 9 games under 500.
They jumped out of the cellar, though.
They leapfrogged over the Boston Red Sox, who have fallen into the cellar. Tampa Bay playing Kansas City tonight. Tampa Bay, like the Blue Jays, will have tomorrow off before they pick things up on Friday night. Nolan Reimel with a good day offensively. He is 2 for 3. He's driven in 3 runs. Had another double. He's got 3 doubles since joining the Blue Jays. Bautista strikes out. Jason Grilly wins that battle. The Blue Jays strand 2 more. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. The Blue Jays have a 7-6 lead. cover every angle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Breaking news, photos, videos, and tweets. A one-stop shop for everything Blue Jays. The Blue Jays Rundown only on Sportsnet.ca. And the Rundown breaks down the conversation Jose Bautista had with Joe Torre, and Bautista won't be fined for his replay comments. He met with Joe Torre here at the ballpark yesterday. Torre had a private meeting with both managers and then had another private meeting with Jose Bautista. And something to the effect of, Jose, we respect your opinion, but please understand we're trying to get this situation right.
It's the first year in replay, and don't want the players coming out like that and bashing it. Jose, if you didn't catch it, said after a couple of plays that went against the Blue Jays, saying that they should get rid of the system altogether, that it's a waste of time, I think, something like that, to that effect.
Yeah, he also referred to it as being a joke, and Joe Torre addressed that, and I'm sure they had a conversation about that. Aaron Loup facing Cole Calhoun. Calhoun hit a 2-run home run in the fourth, and that knocked Marcus Stroman out of the game. Stroman had struck him out in the first 2 at-bats of the ball game, and then he gave up a 2-0 home run pitch. Three balls and a strike to the leadoff man here in the 7th. A leadoff walk. That's never a good thing, especially late in the game.
Yeah, and with the guys who are coming up now for the Angels. A couple of pitches that just missed for Aaron Loup, and now he's got to deal with Mike Trout.
Mike Trout has a single in 3 at-bats. Aaron Loup, the right-hander, handles lefties and righties very effectively. He's got enough weapons to do both.
Remember where he likes the ball. He likes the ball down. Loup likes to throw the fastball inside and outside, but it's been down. You got to get the ball up, I think, above Mike's hands to have success against him.
Two and 0.
8 of his 20 home runs have come against left-handed pitching this year.
Pete Walker doesn't like what he has seen so far in this at-bat, so he's going to come out and talk to Loup. Leadoff walk, and then he falls behind Trout 2-0.
I think this is to buy a little time also. Dustin McGowan is up in the bullpen trying to get ready. Little refresher course right here, what they want to do with Trout. Take some time. We were talking about Albert Pujols a couple of innings ago about where he likes the ball for home runs. How about Mike Trout? Down and in, so you have to be very careful with them. Blue Jays have had success against them this year when they've elevated the fastball up in the strike zone where you can't get to it. But you can see from that diagram right there, he likes the ball down and he likes it in.
There's a strike. Mike Trout is 22. Albert Pujols is 34. And Pujols, many, many years of experience. And there you see Dustin McGowan. It shouldn't take him much longer to get ready. 2-1 to Trout. Goes after that low pitch. Pujols on deck. Blue Jays have a 1-run lead, and it has been back and forth all afternoon. Blue Jays scored 5 runs in the 4th inning. Pulled on the ground. Francisco goes to second for 1, back to first, not nearly in time to get Trout. Nice play by Francisco at third. It was a tricky hop.
Tricky hop right at the end. Those last ones usually are. He stayed right with the, I thought the more difficult play was him catching the ball and then being able to bend his body enough to make a throw to second base. Watch this play right here. In between hop, and then he's going away. He spins around and throws a strike to Kawasaki. And Trout beats it out.
Francisco's got a strong arm, so he doesn't need to get his body in any real strong position. This might be another delay tactic by John Gibbons to ask for the replay at first to give Dustin McGowan a few more pitches down in that bullpen.
We've seen him use that before. And then once the play is in, he goes out and goes to the bullpen. Good turn by Kawasaki, with Calhoun right on top of him. And he beats it out.
So Trout, a base stealing threat at first. He's 10 for 10 in steals this year. Albert Pujols, the veteran right-handed hitter. Pujols is 1 for 3 so far this afternoon.
You know, if you send Trout at first base and he's successful, you take the bat out of Albert Pujols' hand. They'll end up walking him, and then they'll face Hamilton. So I think if you're Mike Scioscia, you have to decide, do we want Trout to try and steal here, or do we want Pujols to swing away?
Good point. And then you have the ability to walk Pujols and pitch to the left-hander Josh Hamilton.
With Trout's speed, I think he can steal anytime he wants. But he's only had 10 attempts this year, and this is why. He's hitting in front of Albert Pujols.
Don't want to open up that base at first to allow the opponents to pitch around Pujols. We have talked to good right-handed hitters around baseball, including Miguel Cabrera, J.D. Martinez, a couple of Tiger right-handers, and they say Loop's fastball is tough to pick up for right-handed hitters, especially when he gets it inside.
Throws across his body like he's almost stepping over to first base, and then crossfires that ball. He's able to get it in on the corner, inside corner to right-handers, and that deception starts on the first base side of the pitching rubber, throws across his body. That deception's enough where they just can't pick the ball up.
Pujols gets tied up with that inside pitch. There's a deep drive to center. Rasmus back at the wall, jumps, and it's gone. Albert Pujols has hit a 2-run home run to dead center. That's why you don't have Mike Trout steal.
That's right. And if you're Mike Scioscia, that's why you want the guy. He got 512 home runs now in his career. You want him swinging the bat, facing the left-hander. Trout steals, you take the bat out of Pujols' hands. That's why Trout was nailed over at first base, to just let Pujols do this. He's done it plenty of times in his career. Pitch out over the plate. He's got plenty of power to dead center. Colby looks like he has it. It bounces right off the top of the wall for a home run.
That home run, as Pat mentioned, 512th of his career. That ties him with Eddie Matthews and Ernie Banks for 21st all-time. 512th career home run. Dead center in a big ballpark. That's the first home run Lupe has given up to a right-handed hitter. First home run he's allowed all season.
Well, it's such a compact swing with great balance. You see there's no step. He starts wide like that, and then he transfers weight on his swing. It's a level swing from a big man, and it's going to give you good results.
His 20th home run of the season. Ibar drops down a bunt. Luke with the play to first, not in time. Eric Ibar with a beautifully executed bunt single. Mike Trout with a fielder's choice stayed out of the double play, and then Albert Pujols with a man at first. It is 20th home run of the season. And the Angels have taken an 8-7 lead. Loop out, McGowan in. Howie Kendrick the batter when we come back to Anaheim. Night's game. He gave up a single in one inning of work. This will be his 29th appearance of the season. He's pitched very well since he's moved to the bullpen.
Good fastball and a sharp slider for McGowan. This is a good role for him, I think. A little bit more power at the back of the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Aaron Loop gave up the leadoff walk to Calhoun here in the 7th inning and came around eventually to score. The home run by Pujols was hit to dead center field, and Colby Rasmus has a beat on it, but it's just out of his reach. Look at that. Look how close he comes to catching that ball and bouncing it right off the top of the wall for the home run. Number 20.
Home run number 20. 13 of the 14 seasons Pujols has played. He's hit 20 or more home runs. 2 RBIs give him 60 for the season. Howie Kendrick goes after the first pitch and pops it into right. Nolan Raimo gets there. McGowan needs just one pitch to close out the 7th, but the Angels have taken the lead. A 2-run home run by Albert Pujols. Dead center, no stride whatsoever. He trusts his hands to get to it. Home run number 20 for Pujols. of the Game is brought to you by the 2014 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car, 16 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
You know, we have been watching Albert Pujols do this for 14 years. You give him something in the middle of the plate, and he knows what to do with it. Extension, full extension, drives it to center field. Rasmus can't get back there in time. He almost comes up with it. It's a 2-run home run, his 20th of the season. He has hit at least 20 home runs in all but one of his 14 big league seasons, and he is climbing the list right now. All-time home runs, he is now tied with Ernie Banks and Eddie Matthews on the all-time list.
Great list of players. They're tied for 21st on that home run list. So Pujols has given the Angels the lead. Now it's up to the bullpen to protect that one-run lead. Kevin Jepson, the eighth-inning pitcher, is into work.
Good stuff. Good fastball. Sharp breaking ball from Jepson in 42 games. CRA is just 2.2. Johnny McDonald takes over at third base for David Freese.
Nolan Reimel, a 2-hit day. He's driven in 3. Reimel 4 for 10 in his brief Blue Jays career. Pops this one up on the infield. Howie Kendrick, the second baseman, takes charge and makes the catch. Eric Kratz, the catcher, just called up from AAA Buffalo. The Blue Jays used a couple of pinch hitters in the 5th. Kobe Rasmus and Juan Francisco both came off the bench, and Mike Socha used his only left-hander in that 5th inning. So the Angels don't have any more left-handed pitchers down in their bullpen.
And the Blue Jays have Adam Lind, who's been an outstanding pinch hitter for them. Still on the bench, and if they need Josh Tolley, he is there also.
Lind is 5 for 12 as a pinch hitter this season with 3 RBIs. Kratz has gone 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts today. Lind is on the bench, and I'm sure John Gibbons would like to be able to use his bat with a runner in scoring position.
Pretty good fastball right there from Jepson.
97 miles an hour. And they have revamped their bullpen effectively with the addition of Grilly and the acquisition of Joe Thatcher. Yeah, I can see them going out and adding to their bullpen. Another left-hander, probably. When you think about their main competition in this division, you've got some tough left-handed hitters that you'd like to be able to neutralize.
Brandon Moss in Oakland. Josh Reddick, when he gets back, is one. Robbie Cano is a guy I'm thinking about for Seattle.
Stephen Vogt.
Stephen Vogt.
Been a very effective hitter. Kratz fouls it right back just above arm boot. For those of you who are just joining us, the Angels jumped out to a 2-0 lead. 2 runs in the second. Blue Jays got a run in the third. Angels got it right back. Both starters were knocked out in the 4th inning. C.J. Wilson started for the Angels. Marcus Stroman started for the Blue Jays. He was knocked out. Blue Jays scored 5 runs in the 4th inning and knocked C.J. Wilson out of the game. The Angels have hit 2 home runs. Cole Calhoun had a 2-run home run in the 4th. That knocked Marcus Stroman out of the game. Pujols had the 2-run home run in the bottom of the 7th to give the Angels the lead. Gianna Navarro on deck has had a 3-hit game. Sharply hit. Nice play by Ibar. High throw in time. Eric Ibar with a good play at shortstop.
He's good. All afternoon, the play has been really shaky for both of the teams, and now when it counts in the 8th inning, Ibar comes up with a nice play. Knows he has some time, throws a nice strike over to first base for the second out. It's Gold Glove winner.
Won a Gold Glove in 2011. Navarro with his 5th 3-hit game of the season. He's not had a 4-hit game so far. Navarro batting with 2 outs. Yanner's had a couple of singles and a double. He has scored a run and driven in a run. Came into this game in a little bit of a funk offensively. Just 135 over his previous 11 games.
Starting to hit the ball to left field with a little bit of regularity.
This is popped up. John McDonald, a third baseman, in foul ground. Quick inning for Kevin Jepson. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Angels have an 8-7 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Eric Smith and Greg Zahn. Blue Jays were threatening to add to their lead, and Colby Rasmus drives one into the alley. This might have changed the fortunes of this game.
Yeah, you and I both thought that this was an outstanding play by Trout because he saved 2 runs right there. The Blue Jays had already scored a run. Cabrera had scored. They had a couple of runners on, and that ball was smoked by Colby Rasmus. Shows you the value of a center fielder, a guy like Mike Trout, who can save you runs with his legs and his defense in center field, on top of helping you with the bat. That's why he's a great player.
He is a great player. He's going to his 3rd All-Star game already, just 22 years old. It was a 7-6 Blue Jays lead at that time, and that would have made it another couple of runs. But now the Angels have an 8-7 lead. John McDonald into the game as a defensive replacement at third base leads things off here in the 8th. They use McDonald like a relief pitcher. And they get a late lead, and they bring him in to play defense, whether it's at third, short, or second. And he will come in to close games with his glove.
He was the closer the other night, wasn't he, at third base?
He came into the ball game and made all 3 plays to close out the 9th inning in that 5-2 win on Monday night. 2 ground balls and a line drive. Dustin McGowan threw one pitch to get Howie Kendrick to pop out in the 7th. Now it's a full count. C.J. Cron, the first baseman, will be next. John McDonald started his career with the Indians and played with the Blue Jays. Did a good job with the Blue Jays. Became a very popular player. But he is best suited at this point of his career to be on good teams where he's going to get a chance to play maybe one inning a day, maybe one inning every 3 or 4 days, but he keeps himself sharp. Pops this one up over near the Blue Jays dugout. That's going to be back out of play.
He was on a good team last year, and I thought that was going to be it for him.
Boston Red Sox, and that would have been a good way to wind things down. Go to the World Series and say thank you very much.
That's it. End on a high note. But he elects to come back. He makes the team in spring training. Still going strong. One of the best guys you'll ever want to meet in the game of baseball right here.
He appreciates his lot in life, the fact he's been able to play as long as he has. This is popped up between the mound and home. Eric Kratz, the catcher, makes the catch. One down. Of course, McGowan needs to throw up a 0 here in the bottom of the 8th. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th, Colby Erasmus, Munenori Kawasaki, and Jose Reyes. You might see Lind for Kawasaki, depending on what the situation is. Of course, you can argue that Kawasaki's been the most effective hitter for the Blue Jays today.
That's the argument I'm going to throw up at you. You'll probably see Joe Smith if it stays like this. You'll get Rasmus, Kawasaki. I'm thinking of Lynn maybe in that Francisco spot right there when you need a base hit.
Of course, then you take out your power guy, Francisco, and Smith throws a lot of fastballs. That might be a good matchup.
See, isn't that fun to be a manager?
Oh, no. It's not that much fun.
You know, it depends on the situation. If you need someone to make contact, you know, and you need a fly ball, you might elect the pinch hit right there. You can't have a strikeout in that spot.
Yeah, and you're right. It depends on the situation. If you got a guy at second base, you'd probably choose Lind over Francisco.
And then Lind can play first, and Bautista can run over to third base. So there are options for John Gibbons.
There's another pop into the seats. You know, that's why you have bench coaches now, because there's so many different options of what you can do, and you've got to keep track of their bullpen and their extra players and all those sorts of moves. DeMarlo Hale is the bench coach for John Gibbons, and they play the game out in their minds, and then they'll talk things over in the dugout. But Cron's got a nice swing, doesn't he?
Yeah. We were talking to Mike Scioscia before this series began during batting practice, and I asked him about C.J. Cron. I said, does he remind you of Mark Trumbo? Is he like Trumbo? He said he doesn't have the awesome power of a Trumbo, that natural strength to drive it out of the ballpark, but he's a better hitter. He can hit the ball to right field. He's got power to right field. And he's developing. He's still a young player.
24 years old.
Yeah.
This is his first taste of big league pitching. Mark Trumbo, rehabbing from a stress fracture in his foot, hit a grand slam in AAA Reno for the Diamondbacks. He's close to making his return. McGowan strikes out Cron. 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th.
96 miles an hour. This is what we're talking about, power at the back end of the bullpen. When you come into these tight situations late in the ball game, you need a strikeout. McGowan just blows that one right by him.
2 down. Hank Conger, the catcher, has gone 0 for 3. Took something off that fastball and had Conger out in front. Ball on a strike to the number 9 hitter. If you're McGowan, you don't want to go beyond this spot in the lineup.
This is your last batter, I think, one way or another. If he ends up losing it, I'm sure John Gibbons is going to go to the bullpen and bring in Brett Cecil, who's warming up.
Cole Calhoun, left-handed bat, is on deck. He had one of the 2 Angel home runs as you look at Cecil loosening up. Game was tied 6-6. Blue Jays took the lead in the top of the 7th on a run. Top of the 7th, the run came in, and top of the 6th, excuse me, they took the lead when Gianna Navarro had an RBI single, 7-6, and then the Angels scored 2 on the 20th home run of the season, a 2-run home run off the bat of Albert Pujols. Conger pulls it foul. It's been a tough trip for the Blue Jays, and everybody knew it was going to be. Facing 2 of the best teams in the American League, in the Oakland A's and the Angels. And then you're going to go down and play in a place where you've never had much success, in Tropicana Field in St. Pete.
We showed it earlier. The 2 best teams with their best home records in the American League.
Conger will take ball 4, and he'll go to first. Another walk. 4 walks now issued by the Blue Jays this afternoon. Gibbons has made the call to the bullpen. Like he had a couple of words for Jim Wolf on the way out to the mound. So McGowan will hand the ball off to Brett Cecil. The left-hander will come in to face the leadoff man, Cole Calhoun. Lefty on lefty when we come back. Brett Cecil will take over here with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Cecil inherits a runner at first base, and he will deal with Cole Calhoun, a left-handed hitter that hit a 2-run home run back in the 4th.
So you try to negate that right there by bringing in the left-handers. First time we have seen Cecil in this series. Fastball, breaking ball. The pitches, making it tough on Calhoun. Calhoun's done a good job staying in there against those left-handers. Last year, he hit .340 versus the left-handers. Not at that spot this year.
But he has hit well against him in the past. He's holding his own at .262 on his way back toward the level of success he had last year. For Cecil, his 35th appearance of the season. And the breaking ball. Angels lead at 8-7, trying to win the series and keep their streak intact. They have not lost a home series in 8 series. To right, Reimold is right there. Calhoun hit it hard, but the inning is over. So we'll go to the top of the ninth. The Blue Jays trail by a run. Colby Rasmus will lead things off. Munenori Kawasaki, then back to the top of the order, Jose Reyes. Ball game on East Ontario and West. It is connected, and there's more baseball on Pacific. The Yankees and Indians. It will be joined in progress. Brandon McCarthy is making his Yankees debut. He'll be starting against Cleveland. Josh Tomlin goes to the mound for the Indians. So there's more baseball coming up next after this game. And connected. New pitcher into the game is the closer, Joe Smith.
Joe Smith has taken over as closer for the Los Angeles Angels with these great numbers. A whip under 1. He's averaging a strikeout an inning. He comes from sidearm, sinks the fastball. He's got a nice little slider. 4 saves, a 1-0 record. He's retired 14 of the 15 batters since last Tuesday. The only batter that he allowed on base was a base on ball. So calm things down just a little bit for Mike Scioscia's team when they put him in the closer's role.
Colby Rasmus has walked and lined out. He hit that ball that was slicing away from Mike Trout. Trout dove for it and ended the inning with a nice sliding catch. Smith delivers the strike. Smith is quickly ahead, and he is a strike thrower. He doesn't mess around. He'll come right at you.
He's a lot like Darren O'Day. from the Baltimore Orioles when he throws from sidearm like that. A lot of movement on his fastball, and he can frisbee slider that ball in there.
Left-handers have hit .250 against Joe Smith. And Rasmus strikes out on 3 pitches. So now with 1 out, it's time for a preview of what's coming up next on Connected. Here's Hazel May. Thank you, Hazel. Obviously a great semifinal game in the World Cup, and Hazel May will break it all down for you after this ball game. Munenori Kawasaki with a 2-hit game this afternoon. Been on base 3 times. Kawasaki with 9 hits on this road trip.
You can see Mike Trout in center field asking the second base umpire. He was blocking his view. There it is right there. He moves out of his way.
Another breaking ball, another strike. It's 1-2. Kawasaki with his 8th 2-hit game of the season. He has not had a 3-hit game this year.
Just chokes up and just hits the ball to left field.
Not this time. Joe Smith drops that breaking ball on the outside corner. 2 up, 2 down. A couple of strikeouts for Smith here in the ninth.
Boy, perfect backdoor sliders right there to a left-hander. First pitch right there, and he does it again. 2 right in a row for the strikeout.
Jose Reyes will have to reach to keep it alive. Reyes has been on base 3 times this afternoon. He singled twice and walked.
He's got that one zeroed in, doesn't he? Right on that outside corner to those lefties.
Baltimore has started their game back east, and Washington has scored 2 runs in the first. Nationals in Baltimore to take on the Orioles. Blue Jays are 2.5 games behind the Orioles at the start of play this afternoon. Blue Jays are down to their final strike.
Backdoor slider's been good for him this inning. Got 2 strikeouts with it.
Corner and missed.
It was outside. That one went around the plate. Good eye by Reyes to lay off of that one. There's some home run power on deck if Reyes can reach.
Fly ball to center. Mike Trout to his left. Ball game. The Angels have won 9 straight series. The Blue Jays fall to 48 and 45. They are now 1-6 on this road trip. A reminder, it's Connected on 3 channels coming up right after this game. Hazel May, your host. More baseball on Pacific. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Friday night from St. Petersburg.